top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charts off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers, break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah, now let's get started. I'm ready, let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready, are you ready, ready? I'm ready, let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah. Give me something new. Time to break loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series. Tonight, the drivers go short track racing at that of Lucas Oil Raceway to see how they can conquer this track, as there's over 30 drivers getting prepared, practicing, and trying to get their short tempers out of the way, as it's going to be a long race here tonight. Drivers got a lot to handle for themselves. It's all here on LSRTV. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is that of Kevin England, and as well, LSRTV Studio going to be in the background for tonight's event, as it is race number 8 of the season for that of the Blanchard Towing 137 here at Lucas Oil Raceway. And tonight's going to be a different race than what we've seen all season, Kevin. I'm excited to see how these drivers are going to be conquering here. I know you've seen this racetrack. You also did a little bit of practice trying to get used to how these trucks are going to be adapting here tonight. What are you expecting for these 200 laps here at this course?
Sam, what an incredible sight to watch these trucks go around this racetrack. It brings back such great memories of this facility back from the Thursday Night Thunder days. We're doing Friday Night Thunder here with the NASRA boys, and watching these drivers around on this track, what I would describe, one word, handful. These guys got their hands full at this racetrack. This is going to be a elbows up drivers racetrack, and what a race these guys are going to put on here tonight.
And we can already see practice currently underway as we take a look at our race information. Practice still has about 3 minutes left here. Then they're going to have 2 laps of solo qualifying, where they're going to be seeing who can put down the fastest lap to have that track position. That's going to be so important. And then 200 laps, where we'll be having 3 different stages. That at stage 1 will end at lap 50, stage 2 will end at lap 100, and then we race it to the end here tonight. And the drivers, 200 laps, this could be a marathon, Kevin, for a lot of these drivers with how long this race is going to be. And like you're saying, it's a tough track on top of that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of single file racing with drivers just trying to do whatever they can to tuck in behind the truck in front of them, get that runoff, and make that move. It's going to be a very calculated race, and I just love the way this track looks. So you watch these drivers run around here in practice. You know, the NASCAR boys, they ran this from 95 to 2011. Then they're coming back this year, July 29th. 2022, they'll be running this racetrack, and it's a precursor to what we're going to see, and it looks just the way it used to when they were the Craftsman Truck Series, and I just love watching these truckers run around here at IRP.
And they're going to be picking and choosing which lane really is feeling the best. This progressive, slight progressive banking, as there's not much banking there for these drivers to work with, but just enough to get around this course. That's been kind of the fun thing to watch these drivers during practice. It's been how they're going to be picking and choosing. Other factor to watch out for is our ML performance, weather conditions here tonight, as it's a nice sunny day, that of a partly cloudy sunny day for these drivers, 72 degrees out. But not a lot of breeze, only 3 miles per hour, but it's the track temp, 92. That's still on the hotter side. That means these drivers are going to be having a little bit of slipping and sliding going on. We'll see how that evolves throughout tonight's race. That's going to be a big thing to watch out, Kevin, is the different lanes they use, as well as how is the heat going to be affecting these tires for these drivers.
Yeah, with the track temp 90 to 100 degrees, I expect them to be slipping and sliding in this variable 7.5 to 12 degree banking. Not a lot of grip on this racetrack. It's got a worn surface. And, you know, I think what we might see, I am interested to, how do you say this? Are there going to be bottom feeders tonight? You know, right now we see in practice the fast way around this track is a la Darlington. You're running right against the wall. We're going to see drivers bouncing off the wall. I don't know if we can call it a Darlington stripe here, but we're going to see a lot of that. But you know, in the old days, you used to be able to hunt down there on that yellow line, do a slide job up. And I'm curious to see whether any of these drivers are going to foray down there and be bottom feeders.
Well, we hope we don't see that type of a wreck happen.
No.
We just saw as drivers end practice, they know there's not a lot of time to really get anything more from what they've been getting from the truck. So they're going to be calling it a practice for themselves. But here in just 10 seconds, qualifying, and Kevin, that's going to be another factor for these drivers, track position. This is the best opportunity to start the race off on the best foot forward here tonight, as drivers' practice is coming to a close. Qualifying is just about to start.
Yeah, no doubt track position is something we're going to talk about all throughout this race. And they're also going to look at the stages. And yeah, you're right. This is going to be really important to see who can lay down some fast times here and get some auto track position by starting out in front of the field tonight.
Trying their best to make sure they are set up the best that they can be here tonight. The goal, get up front immediately as fast as possible. And the driver that's done that the best all season long, it's been Ted Wade, who finds himself with 3 pole positions this season, trying to go for potentially his 4th Blanchard Towing Pole Award. But first, let's check out that of Christopher Blanchard in the 19, going to be running onto the course. These drivers have 10 minutes to put down their best time. And Kevin, we've talked about all season long. This is race number 8 of the season. That's how qualifying's been evolving. Drivers like to stay later on and wait till the track's at its coolest. Others try to go immediately and be those tone centers. And right now, the 16 of the 19, excuse me, wants to be one of those drivers that starts out qualifying, seeing where that baseline speed's at.
All right, a lot of speed up there to the back straightaway. He's going to roll in, not use the whole racetrack. There's a little bit of grip down there, about a lane and a half. It also allows you some of that wiggle room, as we just saw coming up off the corner. Good clean lap for the number 19. Going to put him slot 1 early here in the going. 23.05 time is the mark to beat.
You're going to be all going searching anywhere. Going to be the center of the corner, coming out of turns 3 and 4. Christopher Blanchard trying to get his first Blanchard Towing Award of the season. Across the line, going to be hoping to best his time, but not going to be able to. Going to be only able to go up to a 23.053. So the fastest times we're expected to see are mid-22s to low 22 times. And Hunter Parsons, a driver that's been missing out these last couple of weeks, he was very quick in the first half of the season. I'm excited to see what this 05 is going to have for us here on track. He's going to be riding extremely high on this first lap out of turn number 2.
Really gets the truck wound up, high RPM, dives it into turn number 3. He's going to stay away from that wall and let the truck drift up here out of turn number 4, come back to the stripe and see where he slots in. He's going to go second quickest right now. He's going to run lap number 2. Drives the truck down to the yellow line here, using all the racetrack, and interesting line he chose here for lap number 2.
A little bit of a shallower entry into turn 3. This night might not be the best time possible, and it won't be going to be very much slower, and that's going to be the first time going to be stuck for the 05. Like you said, Kevin, second on the board currently, as here's Eric Zimmerman getting loose out of the corner, and we were talking about this before we went live on the broadcast, and Kevin, you were talking about it. The exit of turn 4 could be one of the trickier spots for these drivers just based on the grip level that they're going to be dealing with.
Yeah, the track looks like it's exactly the same on both sides, but for whatever reason, coming out of turn number 4, it felt like you would put more wheel into it, which means you're turning harder to the left in order to make the car turn, and then for the truck turn, once you get to the end of the turn and you begin the straightaway, the front wheels hook up, and just like the real racetrack, you see the truck go left and then they turn right to straighten it back out. I love to see the lines that these guys are picking and choosing, and that's one of the great things about the variable banking here. We saw Zimmerman, he was running right through the middle of the racetrack and put in a decent time at 23:15.
Gonna need to find a little bit of extra speed if Eric Zimmerman wants to fast during race pace, but gonna be 14th currently on the board for that of the 94. Now we've got this of Jacob Klinkhardt, who's going to be coming across the line to start his first lap for the 5 machine. And for this 5, kind of been under the radar for majority of the season, but running around top 10 for most of these races, the top 15. And we're expecting to see 30-plus drivers racing here tonight for the 7/10 of a mile course here at Lucas Oil Raceway. And that's the one thing that I'm so excited about, Kevin, here tonight as we see the 5 come across the line. Going to be a good time. Should be placing the 5 around that just outside the top 10 mark. We're going to be 13th. But short track racing, this is one of the first times we're going to be seeing that this season. We've seen a lot of the bigger tracks. Smallest course we've ran, it's the mile Dover International Speedway back for race number 3 of the season. This is the first race that's less than a mile. We'll see how patient some of these drivers want to be as we got halfway through qualifying.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Klinkhardt before he got into the truck, and he told me that this track reminds him a lot of Darlington. And don't be surprised if they're banging on the outside. I asked him what he thought of the turns, if he got any sense of New Hampshire. He said, you know, I'm so new to this, I've never run New Hampshire. And that brings an interesting point, Sam. How many guys have actually run this racetrack? It's not something where it sees a lot of rotation in the service. And, you know, drivers like Tyler Dittmer, our winner last week, they know how to get around these racetracks, no matter whether it's the first time or 100th time they visit it. But I think a lot of guys are going to try and just figure this place out tonight.
Yeah, you have that of practice where we saw a majority of the field trying to be as respectful to one another to allow time to get used to this race. I would not be surprised if there's anywhere from 5 to 10 drivers coming into the night have never actually touched this racetrack before and are just coming into the night completely blind. Going to be hoping to just learn as the night goes on. And luckily we've got 200 laps to find that, you know, balance of when I need to be aggressive, when I don't. And we also have stage 1 and stage 2 that are going to be on lap 50 and 100. That's those breakup points. So drivers are going to have a lot of time to truly learn this track. As Ed Osborne going to be 21st after first lap, putting down 7/10 off of our leader. The 42's got a lot of speed if he wants to catch back up.
We really had to get on the binders there to keep from knocking the wall down, and now he's going to turn it down and try and salvage whatever he can from the lap. But it looked like he drove the truck in just a little bit too hard.
It looks like, yes.
Looks like where he landed.
Yeah, I mean, going to be 20th for Ed Osborne. Going to be the fastest they can be. We got 3 minutes left here in qualifying. We're going to step aside when we come back. We'll see where they can grid it up. We cannot wait to give you all the action here on LSRTV.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it? They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying still underway. We got ourselves that of 1 minute and 10 seconds left as drivers have been putting in times. Kevin, I got to say, for a lot of these drivers, track position, like a note on, going to be very important, as Dana Shepard going to be one of the last drivers to try to put a lap time down. Going to be the first lap. Going to be around a 22, that of 0.2. Second of on the board. And this is a shocker. This 43 machine has not been one of the fastest drivers when we go to 1.5 miles or bigger tracks. But this is a huge surprise for the 43 coming at turn number 4 and going to be trying to even best that time and across the line. Not going to be good enough. That first lap is going to be the fast one for that of Dana Shepard, a 22.277. Coming 200ths off of our points, that of our pole sitter, Keith Haney. That is a barn burner right there, Kevin.
I'll tell you what, that was a stellar lap. That truck got digging up off the corner, and a good run for Dana. And he's in amongst heavy hitters: Haney, Gregory, Parson, Wade, Dittmer, Cinnamon, Stephen Thomas, Peacock. They've been names we've been calling all season at the front of the pack. And, well, the good news for Dana Shepard, he's going to start out front tonight.
Out front, going to be out of the way. Qualifying officially done. And for tonight, we prepare 200 laps at Lucas Oil Raceway for the Blanchard Towing 137. And the drivers now starting to hit the course and getting ready for tonight. Let's take a look at where they start. Your Blanchard Towing pole order, going to go that of Keith Haney in the 78. Who is outside, going to be Dana Shepard in the 43 for row number 1. Row 2, going to be finding that is Stephen Gregory in the 61 with Hunter Parsons in the 05 to his outside. Row 3, we find Ted Wade in the number 2 with that of Tyler Dittmer, a winner from last week, in the 34. Row number 4 is going to be finding that of Chris Cinnamon. Had a lot of speed, but not the finish that he wanted these last couple of weeks with the freak and rebound. With that, it's Stephen Thomas in the 23 who's outside. Finishing out our top 10 in row number 5, it's going to be Taylor Peacock with that of Keith Bradley in the 29. And over to you, Kevin, for that of row number 6.
Justin Pitts, 27 starts 11th. It's Adam Newbert in the 4th to the outside. Row number 6. Row number 7, Blake Lothian, and then Brian Abbott in the 82. Starts 14th. Row 8, Logan Quinn in the 44, and Jose Luis Rivera in the 97. Starts 16th. 9th row is Jeffrey Sickles to the inside. Jacob Flinkhart in the number 5 to start 15th. 48 of Robert Richards inside row 10. Outside will be Zach Hartwig in the number 88, starting 20th.
Devin Painter is going to be finished starting up for that of the 64 in row number 11, with Ed Osborne in the 42 going to be out there. Then in row number 12, we find Cody Knott in the 26, as well as that of Matt Rutter in the 33. Row number 13 is going to be finding that of Christopher Blanchard, as well as Eric Zimmerman. And then we move back to that of row number 14, Brady LaBeouf, last season's champion. Going to be starting a lot deeper through the field with that of Brandon Bullock in the 17 for row number 14. Then in row 15, we find that of Joey Doucette, and as well that of Dan Hagan, going to be in the 39. Finishing out the last couple of rows, it's going to be that of Rula Meza, Hug Wigington, and then the last two row, that last driver going to be James Morris in the 47. Do want to give note on that of that of Meza and as well Morris. Both got disqualified during qualifying, so we're not able to put a time down. And all the way from that of where Brady LaBeouf was to last place, so 27th to 33rd, those drivers did not put a time down during qualifying.
Yeah, I have to wonder if these other drivers got into the wall and it disqualified them, DQ'd them, but here you see the trucks under the pace lap, and the anticipation is high. 200 laps, 140 miles. We have a couple stage breaks. Stage 1 is 50, stage 2, lap 100, and we're going to see that pace car turn left and turn the field over to Keith Haney in that number 78. Keith's been coming as of late, Sam, and I expect he's going to have a good run here tonight.
Yeah, got to be one of the drivers I'm excited to see when that 78 can finally get to victory lane. He's shown a lot of pace. Started out late in the season, missed the first 3 to 4 races, but he has been fast since he's been here. And then also that of Dana Shepard. Really don't know what we're going to see from the 483. Usually a driver that's outside of the top 10, but slowly marches forward. We'll see how the 43 is going to be doing up front. A little bit of changes of faces that are up here, but it's short track racing. You never know who's going to be a driver to watch out to win. But out of turn number 4 for race number 8 of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, it's the Blanchard Towing 137. We are green at Lucas Oil Raceway. Down into turn number 1, it's Keith Haney leading the way out of turn 2.
And he cleaned to the backstretch for the first time all by himself, side by side, all the way back through to about 15th or 20th. We'll see these drivers be very cautious on these early laps. You can get into trouble very quickly here. Going to try and bring these tires up to temperature, get a little bit of grip, and settle in for this first stage run.
Just based off of practice, there was a lot of aggressive pushing and shoving against a lot of drivers. A lot of wrecks were being thrown out. And I'm wondering if that patience of recognizing, hey, we don't need to be as aggressive as we were during practice. We tested, we saw the limit. Let's not put ourselves into any more danger as on the inside for that of 4th place. It's going to be Ted Wade and also that of Hunter Parsons. Side by side, it's the 2. Still lingering at the quarter panel, but not able to get the run. Kevin, that outer groove seems to be where the speed's at, and they get the run out.
Yeah, early on with all the grip, you are going to want to run that outside and just let the car or the truck settle itself in there. We said Ted Wade looking low. You know, we saw this last time. 50 laps going to go by pretty quickly here, and you know you're going to get a set of tires. So if you've got some speed in that truck right now, let's go. Let's get some positions. Track position going to be at a premium. Try and get down underneath. The way you make the pass here is tight to the back bumper off the corner and run hard alongside the truck, try and nose underneath them. I suspect we're going to see guys running side by side for quite a few laps while the inside tries to wrestle that position away.
Who can be patient enough to wait as the 23 in the blue gets into the wall, gets a little bit of contact from that of Keith Bradley. And just showing if you get loose out of the corner and put yourself into the outside wall and lose time, everyone's so close to one another. Danger is striking at any moment. And see the 81 of Peacock going to be just riding in 10th place. At 10th position, going to be very important points-wise. Again, end of stage 1 at the end of lap 50, only the top 10 get bonus points. It starts off the winner of the stage, 10 bonus points. Goes down to 9, 8 until we get to 10th place where they get that last 1 bonus point. That can be so helpful to see if you're moving on into the playoffs where 16 drivers will battle for a championship. And this race right here technically counts as the halfway point of the regular season, Kevin. So this is very important as Ted Wade going to be trying to throw it down to the inside.
Just like we talked about, got a good run through 3 and 4. He's down to the door. Now he's even. Door bumper, can he be clear? Not exactly there yet. He's still a little sideways up off the corner, unable to hold the truck, and unfortunately that's going to have another try at it as he's going to slip back. But undaunted, you can see him pulled down here in turn number 4. Just looking to see, you know, I think a lot of times, Sam, when we see the drivers pull down in the center of the corner, that's so that you can pick up the throttle quicker and drive the truck out to the fence to get some speed down the straightaway. You punish the right front tire here, but again, we're going to see a stage break and you'll be able to change those tires. And Wade looks like he's got this place figured out for speed, maybe a little faster than these 2 trucks in front of him. He's just looking to see if he can find the way past.
Yeah, and you can see Ted Wade very aggressive, and then in the center of the corner, what people like to call parking it, where you get so slow at the apex when you're trying to just get back into the throttle. The drivers behind got to be careful. They got to whoa up and get you in trouble if they give you a wrong bump. But Kevin, like most of racing that we've seen this season, and kind of what we've been noting on almost every single race, the stage races, the way that it's breaked up into 3 different segments is Hunter Parsons now going to go to the inside trying to get by the 43 of Dana Shepard. With it being cut up into these 3 stages where it's that of 50 laps for stage 1, they're now going to be going 2 wide, almost 3 wide. It's the lap car of the 33 of Matt Rudder, who looks to be having damage on the 33. Looks to be from earlier incidences, going to be fading back. But how would you say this first stage should be for a lot of the mentality for these drivers? I would imagine for some it's get aggressive, others might be passive. But what are you thinking is the best way that these drivers should be utilizing these stage breaks?
I think it's hammered down. I think these guys should use as much of these tires as they have, find out what kind of truck they have on that long run. And you see right now they're taking advantage. They ducked underneath the 43 truck of Shepard. And, ooh, contact for Cody
Yellow.
Nutt. Saw the back of his truck get dinged over there.
And we're going to have a yellow strike as Calamity further back. Looks like might have been on the back stretch as we take a Bolt Spopper's instant replay. See what happened further back in the field. It's the 48 out of Robert Richards. And Richards was one of the drivers that was struggling the most out of everyone that I was watching during practice. And it looks like he just pulls down and not off the racing surface and just calls it a night. Seemed to be having some internet issues, it sounds like, by race control, and is now going to be trying to reconnect back into the race. But because he stopped in the racing line, yellow flag was thrown, which is a very odd time for the yellow to be thrown out, but it adds a little bit of drama for these drivers. And for some, we got 4 sets of tires in pit road. Maybe someone wants to risk it, put themselves in traffic, and see what those fresh tires can do and what advantage you can have moving forward.
Yeah, I think the first thing that it does is lets everybody's heart rate come down. You're up on the wheel on this track. There's no place to rest, and you're going to take that break. Now you're going to replay those first bunch of laps, figure out how the truck was, see if you want to make adjustments. It's so hard to adjust on the fly when you're in the run because you're focused on the truck in front of you. You look in the rearview mirror. But when you get to take this break, you somewhat do a process, an assessment of what you had, and it'll cool these tires off. It should be an interesting charge back to the restart.
And also with the timing of this yellow, I mean, Keith Haney, when the yellow came out, had almost this full second lead over second place of that of Stephen Gregory. So I'm wondering if potentially that of Haney's going to be a driver that's going to be wanting to figure out, do I want to be aggressive here and put myself in a spot where I keep on trying to push it, or did he overcook those tires just in the first 15 laps before the yellow came out?
Yeah, and one thing that's telling, except for the drivers that had trouble, most of the drivers still running in the position they started in. Maybe they're up 1, maybe they're up 2, maybe they're down 1, down 2. But, so far, except for a handful of 1 or 2 drivers, Dane Hagen running 23rd, up 7 positions. We have not seen a lot of passing. We know that outside lane is going to be there, but I think the other thing that will manifest on this run is the closer we get to that stage break, the more the tires will be worn, and we'll start seeing some of these drivers setting up those passes.
Trying to set up when they're going to be making the best passes that they can, and also this restart's going to be helping. We were starting to see drivers trying to go too wide before the yellow came out. This cool-off period allows the drivers that might have used up too much of their tires, heat up too much, cool them down, give them a little bit more of a lap or 2 of life to continue to race as hard as they can. Few drivers still in pit road. That of Rob Richards, who stopped on track, tried to reconnect into the server, has reconnected, going to be 3 laps down as the 48 gets back on track. Matt Rudder is in pit road, going to be getting service done, currently 1 lap down. Christopher Blanchard came in, topped off with fuel for the 19. See if that helps the 19 get a better launch out of the corner, adding a little bit more weight to the truck. As up front, it's going to be Keith Haney, Stephen Gregory, as well as Hunter Parsons, that of Dan Dana Shepard, Ted Wade going to be your top 5, getting ready to go green. A pace car pulls off and gets ready to hand it off to the 78 of Keith Haney. As the drivers prepared, stage 1 still underway. We race it to the end of lap 50, and then stage 1 will be done as we are green. A little bit of wheel spin further back around 5th place, but into turn number 1, it's our top 3 single file and ready to take a launch out of turn number 2.
By side, you see Cinnamon on the charge. Chuck gets a little wiggle going in. He's down underneath Shepard. Shepard bounces off the wall. Here comes Dittmer to see if he can take advantage of that. Cinnamon sideways up off the corner. He's going to give it back a little bit. Shepard to the outside. You see the flames belch out of the side of these trucks when they let off the gas to slow down and enter. Cinnamon's going to clear. Here's Dittmer working on the 43. Looks like good qualifying time for Shepard, but not a good race mount underneath that 43 tonight.
That was one thing I was the most concerned about, was what was the 43 speed once we got a green flag racing again. He was one of those drivers that ran around 10th to 15th, and then with other drivers having mistakes and not being as consistent, then the 43 would climb his way moving forward. See if Dan Shepard can crack back into the top 5 leader on this race, is right now losing ground and faltering back. Is Chris Cinnamon a driver that showed a lot of strength? He's hoping to stay up front. Taylor Peacock, one of the drivers that I would note on as one of the most aggressive drivers. Oh, a little bit of smoke further back. That's going to be the 4 who gets out of shape, still loose, trying to hold on to it. And somehow Adam Newbert does not wipe out that of Abbott, but could have been an even bigger wreck. Somehow he stayed green. Keep racing forward when that was a big scare, Kevin. That most of the field, they're happy that they all aren't caught up in a big wreck.
Yeah, I think that was just same real estate contest there. Brian Abbott underneath, bagged the left rear quarter panel, and a great job by Newbert to be able to control and get a hold of that truck, bring it back through, and everybody races on.
Able to keep each other, keep their tires on these trucks, able to move forward as the 4 was up around that of 13th. Only lost him 2 positions as the rest of the field really had to jab on the brakes and not get caught up in anyone else's messes. But a driver that's slow, and getting out of the way. 27, Justin Pittman. Pitts is falling back quickly, and he was a driver that was up in the top 10. Surprising to see Justin have to come into pit road, and he's going to have to require damage. 27 hit somebody or the wall. That is not good for his day, as he has to come into pit road.
Yeah, this type of racetrack tends to have a lot of attrition, and it is possible that you can make up a couple positions even if you have trouble early, so get that truck fixed. To that end, we saw the 48 of Robert Richards have some problems. He's back out on the racetrack. If you're a Robert Richards fan running 3 laps down, you did not see Matt Rudder return, so I believe he's going to be scored out of this event as we're watching Wade work that bottom line. He's a bottom feeder, but not all the way down there like I was looking for. I want to see somebody hit that yellow line.
Yeah, I'm curious on who is going to get daring. I think we might not see that until maybe 5 to 3 laps to go if someone's close enough to try to go for a dive bomb pass. I went back, checked on pits. It was after contact of Keith Bradley getting into the wall. The 27 ran into the back bumper of the 29, and it completely ruined the engine and had to come into pit road. Was the 27 with required damage. Got what we call a meatball flag, where it's a black flag with an orange circle in the middle. 27 going to be in pit road for quite a while, staying with that Matt Rudder. But up front, it is still hard racing. These drivers in the top 5. Seeing Hunter Parsons, Ted Wade, Chris Cinnamon. This is 3rd, 2nd, and 5th. All going to be on top of one another. And last week's winner, out of Tyler Dittmer, also latching to the tail end of this group.
Yeah, this foursome one of the best races on the racetrack right now, as everybody's just trying to see what they can do to inch up and take one of those positions out front. They're not missing much. Haney has a good wheel right now. He's got Gregory in tow. They have broken away a little bit, and they continue to run out in front of this group that we're watching here. It's interesting to see where Parsons is running the Kyle Larson line. He's right there, inches off that outside wall. That is really tough thing to do. But at this racetrack, when you slow the truck down, you have pretty good control through the corner. Wade He's opted to be a little bit lower. He might use those right sides up a little bit, but he's got a little more insurance if he slips and slides. And he just seems to be making pretty good time down there.
He's trying to search for anything. That's the big thing. Is we're now 30 laps in, 31 coming to we're now 20 laps until this stage is done. These drivers are going to search for any type of speed, high, low, trying to find an opening. At some point, short track racing, that bump and run might be something that can be utilized, but I think that's going to be a big thing that these drivers might want to steer away from at the same time, because everyone's running that higher lane. Bump and run usually isn't the best way to go, and everyone is still so close to that outside wall.
Yeah, notice Matt Rudder got his damage repaired, and he got that truck back out. And he's actually running right behind this little group that we were watching is out front. Haney continues to lead the way. One of the dynamics that we'll see with this racetrack, being a relatively small racetrack at 7/10 of a mile, is you are going to catch back markers at any given point. Here comes Haney into the 00 truck, and well, that allowed Gregor to catch right back up to him.
Yeah, Gregory's going to be coming into this one, and Gregory holds strong, but for that of the 00, in that Wigginton didn't know where to place himself. This is such an odd track because the preferred lane is the outside preferred for these drivers. 00 did not know where to place himself. Usually when the outer lane is preferred, you go down low and let everyone else pass you, and that just means that this a little bit more dangerous, giving Hunter Parsons, he's got to figure out how to defend and also make a pass by the lap car and hope that he doesn't get utilized and the 00 doesn't become a pick. When all the way up against the wall, he's the 00 as everyone else. They've got to dive down low. It's going to be Chris Cinnamon trapped in the fourth spot as well. It's just lap traffic and lead lap drivers. It's always going to be a little bit of a heart attack of a moment. We just don't know who's going to make it through and if there's going to be contact made between those drivers.
Yeah, that truck running slow, Huck Wigginton, Krispy Kreme truck, it's a bit of a chicane, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean, if you just can't carry the speed, you get a little uncomfortable trying to run down the bottom, and you got to run where you can, kind of keep the truck pointed in the right direction. And, one thing they say about a slower truck, just run your line. Everybody else should be able to drive around you. And great case in point there, all these leaders got by with no incident.
One of our leaders can move up to the lead, as our leaders have got a wall of lap traffic that's dealing with them. And for Connecticut Danny, I'm getting concerned for himself as right on and watch the battling that's going on back here for third place. Still, 4 drivers in line sticking with one another. Going to be finding themselves with And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of contact being made, lap traffic. That is Stephen Gregory, second place runner, and causing these drivers to have to falter and have the restart here. Second restart of the night, as we have 10 laps to go here in stage number 1 for this of the Blanchard Towing 137 for the NASRA Triple N Pulling Truck Series. The drivers are at the short 7/10 of a mile of Lucas Oil Raceway. It's been a wild one. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Kevin England, as well as LSRTV Studios running the background. Kevin, we're close to the end of this stage, and end of lap 50 is the marker we're going to. This is going to be a short little dash. What are you expecting from these drivers here in the early going?
I, for one, are wondering if Haney is going to be nervous here when they go in to get tires. He's got to have a flawless pit stop. He's done so well with the track position out front. He's got to be thinking pit, 4 tires, fuel out, no incident. This is an interesting racetrack where you come in to get to pit lane is off of the backstretch where you enter turn 3, and it's a very narrow little road. You can kind of see it there to the left in the overhead shot. It's a tricky pit road also. There's some of the stalls are on the curve. A good thing for Haney, he's going to go all the way down and should have a good clean exit for him, but I think all these drivers, they might look to see if they can get another position here, but they're also now thinking, look to the left, find my pit box, and get a good clean pit stop.
And also, because we're so close to the end of stage one, some drivers actually decided to go with the call of going with tires under this pit stop, and that's going to be drivers only back in 23rd position, going to be led by the 59 of Blake Lothan, Adam Newbert, of Dane Hagen, as well as Jeffrey Sickles. All came to pit road, took tires, fuel, and they're going to be seeing how well they can carve their way through this pack. Again, they're going to be back in 23rd. Up front, though, the front 22 all have not pitted this race, staying on those older tires and hoping that they can stay strong, as it's going to be that of Keith Haney, Hunter Parsons, Ted Wade, Chris Cinnamon, that of Tyler Dittmer are going to be your top 5, with that of Keith Bradley, Stephen Gregory, Taylor Peacock, Stephen Thomas, and that of Brian Abbott going to be your top 10. Get ready to go. Kevin, it's going to be seeing these drivers a 6-lap dash, if they can get to that of lap 50, or the end of lap 50, I should say. But if a yellow comes out after lap 46, this race will be seeing stage one come to a conclusion at that yellow. That's going to be the key thing for these drivers, is they want to stay clean and green if possible. But with it only being 7/10 of a mile, anything can happen in a blink of an eye, as the Blanchard towing 137. Getting ready, and we are green, already taking off. It's going to be that of Keith Haney, and they're going to be single filing out for a front 3 down into turn number 1.
And now everybody is thinking, get to the high line whenever you find a hole, dive for it. We saw one truck way in the back there, spin the tires, bounce off the wall, but keep it going. Haney, good launch on that restart. He's going to jump out with Parsons to his back bumper. Keith, Ted Wade running right there in third, and everybody's kind of settled in. I think we're going to see it green all the way to the yellow here for the first stage break.
That's what we're hoping for, at least. And side by side is going to be for that 4th place position. And we're going to be on top of one another. But Hunter Parsons, as well as Ted Wade, they're keeping it close with that of Keith Haney. But can they make a pass here? That's going to be the question. Can you set yourself up? Be close enough at the moment? Not close enough is the 05 of Hunter Parsons in the 2nd place. It's going to be Keith Haney, strong, our pole sitter, looking like he wants to win stage number 1, where he lies right now, but coming across the line, it's going to be 3 laps to go here in stage number 1, sponsored by Sim Racer Hub.
Yeah, interesting to see the line. The drivers drive way up over into the fence in turns 1 and 2, then turn the truck down so they can carry as much speed. They're a little wider here in 3 and 4, but same tactic. And right now, everybody looks pretty comfortable. And now they know what they have for the first 50 laps at that stage, and they could plan their second one. Sometimes they run a little too hard in the first stage in the beginning. After these tires get reset, they get to do it all over again.
One of you finding these drivers coming to the white flag of stage 1. Top 10 going to get those bonus points. And right now, looking at where all the top 10 drivers lie, they're all feeling secure in line. But it's Keith Haney up front, feeling strong by over 3-4 tenths. It's a big enough gap lead. A little bit of a shimmy, but Chris Cinnamon able to hold on for now. But out of turns 3 and 4, it's going to be Keith Haney in the 78, finding himself into winning stage number 1. Our Blanchard towing Pole Award winner, Adam Keith, also is the stage winner here tonight.
And a nice job for some of these guys trying to get their way to the top 10. Keith Bradley up 4 positions. He's going to get some points, and it'll be Brian Abbott in the Third Rock Racing Ford number 82, scoring 10th, picking up the last position that pays out as everybody heads to pit road. Here they are on that tricky pit road. Boxes are really small here, Sam. It's tough to find your pit sign, and you got that outside wall to your right when you come out of the box. These drivers just need to be really clean here and get a good stop.
It's also extremely quick. I mean, at the time of the yellow came out, they were practically into their pit boxes in an instant, trying to make sure they get in there. But with how narrow it is, you saw some trucks even further back in our shot having issues. And Some just missing their box, it looks like, as that James Morris missed his box for the 47 and came running down pit road with the rest of the drivers that were coming out. That was a very dangerous position to be in. But drivers that stayed out after coming into pit road under the last caution that came out, Adam Newbert, Blake Lothan, as well as Jeffrey Sickles and Christopher Blanchard going to be the front runners. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we get ready for stage number 2.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it? They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the NASRA Triple M Pony Truck Series, race number 8 this season. This marks the halfway of the regular season for these drivers. It's going to be an important one to make sure that you are up front, now hitting your marks if you've been having an off season. As tonight, the drivers for the Blanchard Towing 137 at Lucas Oil Raceway put on a great show. Stage 1 just had a couple of cautions be thrown out. One fluky one managed to bring out a yellow, and now the rest of the field prepared and getting stacked up to go green. My name is Sam Tyre. With me is Kevin England and LSRTV Studios in the background. Kevin, we're about to go green for stage 2. What are you expecting here?
Yeah, there's a question one of these drivers is going to ask in a little bit is, how'd that work out for you? 4 if Adam Newbert stayed out on the racetrack, did not go to pit road. We know that he is on Osborne tires at this juncture, where he pitted a little bit earlier. They can go 50 to 75 laps on fuel. I'm not sure what this call's about, but it's going to make for an interesting restart.
Top 4 going to be that of Newbert, Lothan, that of Blanchard, and Sickles. All decided to take themselves tires under the second to last caution that we just had. That was just 17 laps ago. As drivers take off, it's not for very long as yellow flag strikes immediately. As drivers getting spinned out, clogged up, issues on the high line. That looks to be Stephen Thomas and also Keith Bradley, those 2 drivers, as our Pulse Poppers instant replay. Seeing what calamity on the restarting into turn number 1 struck for these drivers. A lot of shuffling went on here, but into the corner, it's going to be the 29 getting into Ted Wade, and away they go, becoming a tosser is Keith Bradley. It's going to be seen that is Stephen Thomas just trapped and waiting until everyone else gets out of the way.
That's some big hits for some heavy hitters there, and that's got to be a sigh of relief for these 4. You know, we talked about it. There was the option to pit before the end of the stage, take your tires, get back out, get that track position. And for a couple of these guys, I'm not saying it's a bad strategy. I'm just trying to figure out how this is going to work. I will say, in that first stage, we didn't see a lot of speed drop off, did we? I think this might be a good play for these guys.
Yeah, if anything, it might have been maybe a half a second off, but that's when we had about 30 to 40 laps on these tires. These drivers only going to be having about that of 12 lap difference of those when they came into pit road. And if you look at even just green flag laps that were ran, it was only just a handful of green flag laps that our top four really truly put down. They had a lot more pacing throughout these last about 19 coming to 20 laps that have ran for these drivers. So they're at least feeling pretty good on the wear and tear. They feel like they could be competitive. For Adam Newbert, though, it's the damage that the four has. The front bumper and also a little bit of the side has been squished in and crinkled, showing that there is some damage that has been thrown at this four. So that's going to be another factor to watch out for. But luckily, we're at a short track where damage, as long as the engine's still at full song and it doesn't have any engine damage to slow down these trucks, you can still take quite a big beating and still be running pretty quick.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think that damage is going to play any factor. And if we go back and replay the tape, we saw the 17 of Brandon Bullock trying to stay low. We had talked about as a lapped vehicle or one where the leaders are coming up, hold your line. Unfortunately, it looked like the 17 slipped up a little bit and tagged the number 61 of Stephen Gregory, and that was that incident at lap 40. And a couple of these drivers, as we've been talking about, took the opportunity to pit there. I think that's an interesting strategy, and certainly for Blake running there in second, didn't qualify or got DQ'd. We're not sure what the situation was, but he was deep in the pack. He had to do something different to get track position, and here he is running second.
He's now going to be finding himself up here, second place, qualified at 13th position. Now we're going to be set and ready to go. Pace car lights still on, waiting for them to flash off, and then we'll get back to racing here tonight, as it's going to be lights off. Adam Newbert, Blake Lothan, Adam Christopher Blanchard, Jeffrey Sickles. Hunter Parsons is going to be your top five, with that of Keith Haney, Tyler Dittmer, Chris Cinnamon, Stephen Gregory, as Ted Wade going to finish out your top 10. We'll see how Gregory can march his way forward. It was again caught up in the wreck that came on lap 40 that really shook things up on allowing our current top four to be in the position that they're in. Not coming to pit road at the end of stage one. Hit it before the stage one was done. Took track position. They've got enough fuel and tires to make it to the end of stage two at the end of lap 100. Well, can they defend if we stay green? As the pace car is off, we're green. It's time to get some hard racing up front. As Adam Newbert, Blake Lothan, they are on the loud pedal, but it's going to be the battling going back for fourth place that we got to keep our eyes on, because it's Blanchard blowing up the rest of the field that got fresh tires.
And you could see that no tires not making those trucks very secure over there in the corner, and Keith Haney got to take advantage of that. As you see one truck sideways down there on the front straightaway.
That's going to be Logan Quinn. That's going to bring out a yellow here tonight. Just got a little bit. We're going to have to see on the replay on what got the 44 out of shape, but he tried to save it. Wasn't able to, and that's what brings out this yellow, which, I mean, Kevin, we kind of knew that this was a potential of in short tracks. Cautions, breeding cautions. It's always going to be something to keep your eyes on, as you saw just out of the corner. Tried his best not to get into other drivers, got into the wall, and then just too slow while the rest of the field was coming in, and iRacing deeming that as a yellow that needed to be thrown out just to keep all the other drivers safe. As we'll reset it, we'll try it again. But this has got to be feeling good for our top three currently of Newbert, Lothan, and Sickles. These laps, they're laps that they're able to cool off their tires, and as well, they're just defending their positions by just being up front and the cautions coming out so fast.
And the dynamic to watch on that restart was Haney. That's the truck I want to see. He was up front for the whole first 50-lap stint. Now finds himself in fourth position. Had a great restart because he was on the outside lane. He had Hunter Parsons to his inside. That's the truck I was talking about that got blocked. Now Parsons is free. And I think the drivers here are going to prefer an outside lane start, being in fourth. My guess is Haney's going to be on the inside with Parsons right behind him on that right rear. This should make for a fun dynamic to watch how these restarts play out.
That's the one thing I want to see, what Haney, how aggressive this 78 wants to be. He's got the fresher tires, as well as Hunter Parsons and Chris Cinnamon. And now that this I mean, this already was going to be a little bit of a shorter stage than stage one. It was going to be shrunk down to practically 45 laps because of all the pacing from once stage one concludes. But with these early cautions that are coming out, it's just making it to where these tires you're really, truly not saving. It's just go. Be aggressive. Put your best foot forward to get back up front. We know that Keith Haney wants to be up front, saw how much that clean air was nice to have. Had a couple of scares with lap traffic, but overall just wants to be up front. And you look at some of the drivers that are looking for some good days. Adam Newbert trying to change how his season's been going. The 4 has been up, has shown speed, but the luck and clutch factor of having some good finishes has not been there. Like Blake Lothan shown that he can get to victory lane at Watkins Glen earlier this season. Jeffrey Sickles hasn't been really truly a driver we've talked about much, unless he was caught up in a wreck for most of this season. 22's looking for a good day. Keith Haney came in halfway through the regular season on race number 4 and 5. And everyone else further back, they're just looking to have some more consistent days for themselves. And I think the rest of the field, they're ready to get some green flag racing action on, as they're still waiting for the pace car lights to go off.
Hammers and wrenches out in the 23 pit of Stephen Thomas. He's deep in the hole now, as is Ted Wade. You have to wonder if those guys recognize the playbook that this top group has right now for track position, and see if they're going to hit early if the opportunity presents at the end of the stage. I don't think, Sam, that if you're getting to lap 48 of 50 in this stage, you can hit and come back out and not lose a lap. It really has to be a caution late for them to try that strategy that Lothan and Newbert and others tried.
Yeah, that's with 10 to go in the stage. I think that was the best opportune chance you're going to have. Maybe if there's caution with 8 to go in the stage, you might have a better opportunity. So that would be around that of lap 92. But we'll see how this stage is going to go. Stage 2, again, end of lap 100. That's when this stage will conclude. For the drivers up front, they're hoping they can get up to speed cleanly. A driver's going to be low, slow, getting out of the way. I think that's going to be Rolo Meza, who's going to be out of the way. Actually, excuse me, that's actually going to be Christopher Blanchard. But up front, it's Newbert, Blake Lothan. They're holding strong. And also Jeffrey Sickles, but under the wall, going to be Keith Haney. That is not the bump that the 78 wants to get.
It was a pretty significant hit with the whole right side pancaked against the wall. The good news for him, he didn't lose too much momentum. Still on the charge there, fighting for that position as they're 2x2 all the way through the corner. The low guys doing all they can to carry the speed, but pinched down and just trying to get every ounce of speed off the corner that they can.
Right now, it's going to be that of Keith Haney with the fresher tires. He's doing a great job holding strong on the outside. Hunter Parsons is going to have to just dive it down low, but when you try to do these dive bomb moves, you also have to find a way to slow down. That is big. The key is under the wall, sliding. It's the 61 once again. Stephen Gregory issues as he's going to be falling back. We stay green, but a ton of lost ground, heavily damaged, and now all the way back to 23rd. It might be bumped out again as these drivers continue to stay green. A massive contact and wreck. Other drivers got to be careful for themselves. And that of Gregory is going to have to come to pit road with the damage that he's taken.
Yeah, I have to imagine there's right side suspension damage, and he's going to get his wish here as it looks like a truck stop down on the bottom. That means it's going to draw a yellow. Well, maybe
potentially yellow, but there's no traffic coming. We stay green.
Yeah, that Stephen Gregory truck is just hammered. That truck not up speed and just hoping for a caution. That's all he can do at this point.
And that driver that we saw that was parked to try to get himself straight, going to be the 17 of Brandon Bullock into pit road, is going to be the 61 of Gregory, who had gotten a meatball flag, meaning he had required damage, had to come to pit road. But up front, it's Adam Newbert, Blake Lothan. They're pulling away, and their goal is to hope that they give a big enough lead to hold off the 78, as Keith Haney's now up to third. He's got a little bit of a gap, just that of a half a second, the difference between second and third place.
So I think the answer to that question, how'd that work out for you? Pretty darn good. These guys look not too shabby up here out front. They're able to hold their own speed-wise. One of the things about this racetrack is once you get the tires heated up, everything kind of evens up. And there's a lot of speed in that number 78 truck in third. He's looming large in their mirrors.
He's just getting bigger and bigger, and also coming with the 78, it's going to be Chris Cinnamon in fourth place. The 3 truck has been very patient. I've been loving the way I've been seeing Chris Cinnamon attacking these corners. He's been very patient, just staying close to the outside wall in the entry of the corner, and just letting the truck just be smooth around the track. Because for Keith Haney, he's being a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more turning on the entry, which is burning off those tires slightly more. But still, just there's so much speed in that Keith Haney machine. He's trying to keep it up the best that he can. As here comes the 78, pressuring, looming, and trying to get Blake Lothan to make any type of mistake so that Haney can pounce on it.
Yeah, if I'm Haney's spotter, I'm going to tell him to be careful. Don't overdrive the truck. You still got a lot of laps in here. You could wear those right sides down, and that'll beat the truck up a little bit. You're going to fall prey to slipping back. So just needs to be smart here, and by this time he's faster than these guys. Creep up. Try not to overdrive the truck at this jump.
Trying to stay smooth as we're coming across the line. It's going to be 20 laps to go here in stage number 2, sponsored by Sim Racer Hub. Going to be that of Adam Newbert, Blake Lothan. And here comes the 78, third place. Keith Haney, who was your Blanchard Towing Pull Award winner here today, trying to go for the pass for second place, but just showing he might have the grip to at least poke the nose, but it's the exit of the corner. The strength goes to the driver on the outside, and that is where the 59 lies, defending for second place currently.
Yeah, it's so hard to drive off the corner and carry any speed if you can't steer it up to the wall the way you want to. There's a big slide right out behind him. He's able to drive down low here. I wonder if we see any slide jobs here tonight.
I mean, if you might have to, as Chris Cinnamon bounces off the wall, that is not the good angle. You want to be clean and parallel with the wall if you're going to hit it. That was with an angle hit. Chris Cinnamon's going to be a little bit in trouble as we watch the battle for second place. Haney, the best opportunity, a nose ahead, and here comes that chance for a dive ball move. Going to be diving it down low. Slide job, does it work? Here comes Lothan diving it to the inside, trying to do a crossover on the backstretch, but not close enough. Keith Haney makes the pass for now. 59, trying to force it 3 wide. Haney almost getting to the quarter middle of the board.
I have found a little magic in that 78 truck, driving it down into the corner right through that lane. Must be some grip right there as the truck really sticks and hooks that corner. Haney now challenging for Newbert. Newbert probably got to ease out a little bit just to make sure the truck doesn't slide up with those tires that are showing a little bit more wear. And with the fresh tires, Haney able to cut the corner. He's side by side for the lead, and he's got a nose out front here off of turn number 2.
Just needs one more good launch, I think, for Newbert. If he can keep it close, and he is going to, still going to be seeing them side by side in turn number 3. If Haney can get a good launch, go out of the corner, try to just dive bomb it down there and try to go for a clean slide down move. This might be the opportunity. Going to be diving it to the center of the corner. Feeling good, but just not clear enough. Newbert still holds strong, with them still staying side by side on the backstretch.
Well, trying to do whatever he can to draw ahead. He gets a good run through the center of the corner. Can he clear him? I think he's going to get him this time. He does, as Newbert gets a little slideways off the corner. That's going to open the door, and here comes Haney to the front just in time. Catch the back of the pack.
This is going to be lap traffic that our leaders are going to have to worry about. In front of them, going to be the 00. I've seen that of Wigginton going to be trying to get out of the way, cleanly out of the corner. Is successful for the 78, but everyone else, the 00 so slow on the straightaways, almost got calamity for other drivers. The next group that we're going to be seeing the 78 have to worry about is going to be that of Brandon Bullock in the 17, and oh no, there they go, wrecking behind. It's Ditmer, a winner from last week, going to be caught up in this one, and many of others on the backstretch. As the 37 just locks up the brakes, everyone else tries to get by. Hunter Parsons as well going to be involved with this one, and all the drivers trying to get by the slower 00. And with how quick you have to react, a wreck, calamity strikes here at that of Lucas Oil Raceway.
But that's unfortunate, and that was just a matter of inches there caused that incident.
Driver's going to be trying to make sure they're in safe places, and immediately when the yellow comes out, drivers can come into pit road, and are going to be seeing some of them come in. Lothan, as well as some of the others of Peacock, also going to be seeing that of seeing Chris Cinnamon get some service done. Cinnamon, who had gotten into the wall, makes sense. Come in, get those repairs done. A couple of other drivers that have gotten or need to get repairs done can be coming in as there's Peacock. As Adam Newbert continues to stay out with the track position in second. Going to be staying in second currently. As Blake Lothan went from being up in the top 5 to dropping all the way to 16th position.
Yeah, I'm going to scribble in my notebook 2 drivers. 64 Evan Painter. He was running some of the fastest laps on the racetrack and sitting back there just behind that lead group that we were running with. Even faster than him was Taylor Peacock. Now I see 4 tires and fuel for the 64 Painter, and look where we are. We're lap 90, 10 laps prior to the stage break. Could that be the play that we were talking about for track position? At minimum, I think, Sam, they're going to go in, and if they're just going to top off, they won't have to take tires, so they can take right sides, and it'll be just a splash of fuel to get them out. That could also play dividends. So we just have to watch how these strategies play out. There's a bunch of different ones going on in parallel.
Yeah, and also with the damage, there's a couple of drivers that have parked in for the day, that of Justin Pitts as well as Stephen Gregory, all going to be calling it a night here as they both had just had too much damage to continue on. And other drivers that we're going to be seeing if they can get back out on track. Hunter Parsons has been in pit road for quite a long time for 0-5. It's not required damage, it's optional, so should be able to at least stay 1 lap down, or maybe even 2, as the 0-5 officially goes a lap down. We got ourselves 23 drivers of the 32 that started to be on the lead lap. So up front, it's going to be Keith Haney, Adam Newbert, Joe Doucette, and Brian Abbott, as well as Jacob Clinkhart, going to be your top 5, getting ready to go green here in just a couple of laps. As drivers cycling through themselves in position to stack up and get ready to go. Drivers are getting set up here. I mean, it's another dash at the end, just like we had for stage 1, Kevin. This go around, we got a lot more drivers that seem to be wanting to be aggressive with pitch strategies, and we got ourselves, you look at the top 10, there's about 3 different strategies that are out here. We got some drivers that put under a last caution, some that did during the stage break. Then we got Adam Newbert that headed all the way back on the lap 40 for this race, right before the stage breaks. The driver's going to have a lot of different calls on how they want this race to go. But it's pole sitter, our Blanchard County pole sitter award winner, and it's Keith Haney that is in the control on the inside. The 78 sees the base car go into pit road. Now it's time to see who's going to be up front in the top 10 for our stage 2. As base car's off, green flag in the air, and they're off already into turn number 1. A little bit of wheel spin in the middle of the pack. It's all that of Keith Haney pulling away and feeling comfortable up front.
Yeah, like a bullet out of gun, Haney is gone. He's already got 12 car lengths going into turn number 3, and they are scrapping back through the middle. You see the side-by-side action there with the number 5 of Jacob Clinkhart trying to make that bottom line move as he's to the inside of Abbott, and yeah, there's one up into the wall. We're going to see all kinds of stuff in this final charge at the stage break.
Brian Abbott going to be in the 82 on the outside, trying his best. He's going to have Clinkhart to the inside of the 5. Then he got Joe Doucette, third place runner, currently on track as Newbert gets loose with those much older tires, seeing himself get in trouble. But it is still, yes, we see side-by-side battling going on in 4th place, but it's a gaggle of cars all the way back in 15th, 16th. That is honestly one moment, one little slip up. You can see the end of the day for a majority of those drivers. Again, there's no fast repair coming at turn number 4 and across the line. 4 laps to go here in stage number 2.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the driver that's had his handfuls is Cody Knott back there in that 16th position. Went into turn 3 a lap or so ago. It did a Darlington right against the outside wall, but kept his foot in it, drove it out, and just continues to soldier on. I guess that's the play of the day here as these guys getting all they can. They were looking at this, at that opportunity to see if they can get into that top 10, but boy, right there on the outside of that top 10, there's a lot of nervous trucks in that stack.
We're also seeing battling currently going on, and side by side going to be seeing that rally as well. We see the 2020 Thomas look based off the drivers in the top 10. Freshest tires to the 23, but there's a lot of damage. They're going to be 3 wide back there, battling for drivers, trying to take every position possible. It's going to be Blake Logan trying to make it even 4 wide for a moment, and they're almost 5 wide. Out of the corner, it's going to be the 59, surviving for now. Painter losing ground, filtering back, and what a way to gain every position, because all the drivers, this is the see who's going to be in the top 10. It's going to be side by side. That is James Morris, Logan. They're going to be staying and cracking in the top 10 to 59. So Luis Rivera pulls away. We're on the white flag at stage number 2. It's Pete Haney dominating stage 2 and stage 1. And somehow the 59 gets into the top 10 with a dazzling move and survives across the line. Stage 2 goes to that of King Haney as the yellow fly stage break is here. Stage 1 and stage 2, sponsored by Sim Racer Hub. But Kevin, whoo, what a move by the 59 machine.
The 47 of Morris was flat sideways over there in turn number 3. You know, that's, if we could make a plug to go see short track racing, that's the cool thing about it. You know, what you see on TV is amazing. What you see at the track is just incredible. All the scrapping that goes on, and the coverage here is second to none. You could see Logan Quinn's truck, as nervous as it was in that batch that we were showing, and oh man, that was just cool racing all the way through. Good for these guys.
I mean, a huge applaud has to go to the drivers. The fact that they were able to hold on and keep it together. I don't even know very many racing leagues can keep that type of racing action, especially at this type of a track, and keep everyone pointing in the right direction. Usually someone would squeeze another driver, and a wreck's going to happen there as drivers coming into pit road. Those that pitted before, though, this is their opportunity to be up front. Blake Logan, he's now going to be up front. Our leader, he's not going to come into pit road, as that of Keith Haney once again, Kevin, at the start of another stage, he's got to make the pass to get back up front.
Right side's done. They're going to come around, work left side. We'll see whether anybody else is going to take 2. Good pit stop for Haney. He's going to be down and away, packed it full of fuel, and that's going to take him quite a ways. Now, the good news for Newbert, he's on par with all these other guys. He's going to be up there and have 4 tires in fuel and be able to race right with them. As I just saw James Morris hit the inside wall over there coming off of pit road.
Pit road sponsors to drivers, and Morris hoping that doesn't add any more damage that could have been already there. Let's give a little of the other drivers that come to pit road that were a lap down. Hunter Parsons was able to get back out on track to be 1 lap down. Quinn going to be in that 44 position, going to be finding himself in a safe place as Dana Shepard, lucky dog driver of this yellow, coming out for the 43. And for Dana Shepard, this has not been the race that they've been wanting here tonight. Qualified well, qualified up in that of in the top end, second place, but it's not at the race speed. Able to stay up front in our top 10. You look at our top 10 though, biggest mover of the night currently goes to that of the 19 of Christopher Blanchard. But before that, we had our stage break. The biggest mover was Joey Doucette, who was up in 3rd, taking 3rd place points from that stage 2 break. As drivers getting prepared, getting set. Kevin, there's no more stage breaks. We're racing it to the end of lap 200. Well, this is going to get fun for these drivers, as they will have to come to pit road at least 1 more time. I think that's going to be the factor that changes how all these drivers think, as the majority of them still have 2 extra sets of tires in pit road.
Yeah, and what you were just talking about is a compound of the strategy that we've been tracking all through this race for Blake Lithian. Hit it on lap number 89. Similar play to what we saw earlier in the race, but the better news for him, there's a bunch of other drivers that did the same thing. For Keith Haney, who had led the most laps here so far, he's going to have to restart a little bit deeper. He's back in 8th on this restart. He's got to come through quite a few trucks in order to get back up there, but I suspect he'll be fast. Key for Haney is keep the thing clean, and, well, we're going to see how this all plays out as the lights are out on the pace car. They're coming to turn number 3, and it's going to take that left-hand turn and head to pit road.
Get ready to let us go roaring once again. It's going to be your top that of 7 drivers that are going to be on older tires, different 13 laps, but is it a big enough difference? Again, those top 7 hold off the rest of the field. Yeah, no more stage breaks. We're green. That Avalanche are towing 137, and it's all black out of Blake Lothing going to be up front, trying to pull away as you've got Dittmer, Sickle, side by side for second out of turn 2.
Eases the truck through that high lane over there in turn 3 and 4, runs up off full speed, full song, past the start finish line. Complete lap 108 out behind him. Everybody else on a mix of worn and fresh tires, trying to fight for any track position. They're 3 wide there with the 22 the high side. Here comes Haney with a fast charge down underneath. Haney not wasting any time here, trying to cut his way through.
22 has been having issues with the car, got into the wall early, and now it's just trying to survive currently. That's Jeffrey Sickles. That, and we're keeping our eye on the 22 because of the way that he's been getting into the wall. That is a danger zone. Fred Osborne in the 42 behind. 22 and 0.2 set a little bit of contact goes into that. Jacob Klinghart, they hold on for now. An amazing save for the 22 and the 5. Again, that outside wall. David Thomas getting concerned, but on the move. It's out of the 78. He's trying to move up. Quick yellow flies. They're going to reset and try it again. Checking to see where exactly all the drivers were. I believe it might have been further back. Eric Zimmerman and those drivers were. The drivers were a little bit of damage on the front nose of that 94, and we'll see here. Oh, there it is. Bumped by the 88. 88 goes to the outside wall, and Zimmerman gets knocked back up. A little bit of a spin. Can we bring out another yellow here on lap 110, on 111? Get ready to see who decides to come to pit road potentially. Up on the fuel further back. That could be an option for these drivers. But Kevin, I mean, we're halfway now. This is crunch time. I would imagine some of these drivers are feeling that kind of a tension or intensity build up just more and more each lap that goes on by, as a few more drivers are now out of this race. And another person's also that of Robert Richards calling it a race for themselves, adding with Madison Gregory and Justin Pitts. But Kevin, that intensity is just going to keep on building. That's the one thing that I'm excited for, some of the bold moves they're going to make, but also concerned the amount of cautions that could be building up and waiting to boil over.
Yeah, I think the story of Zimmerman that we just saw is going to be something we're going to see. You know, we always talk about give and take. Well, now it's time to take a little bit more, and it was a tap-tap crunch motion sound inside that number 94 truck for Zimmerman. And I believe we're going to see a little more extra curricular activity. I got to give a call to Ed Osborne, was running in 10th when that yellow flag flew. He just ducked in and topped off. I have to wonder if these guys are thinking that maybe they can go in now, get their final run of fuel, and if they pace themselves and we have a bunch of cautions, maybe they're going to find that track position. I just keep trying to figure out who's going to have the best chess match to win this race tonight.
Also went back and looked at Osborne. With tires and fuel. Also going to be adding with that is Dan Hagen. Going to be on the same strategy. The only one that really came in, got out the fuel, got tires. Going to be back out there on track. But they're going to be back in 20th and 21st position. We'll see how well that's going to work out. He's got 23 drivers on the lead lap. Logan Quinn comes back into pit road, gets Sarah Sons at 44, who's had a rough day. As up front, it's that of Blake Lothing, Tyler Dittmer, Adam Taylor Peacock, Christopher Blanchard, Chris Cinnamon, Keith Haney, going to be your top 6. And for Haney, the biggest mover of drivers with fresh tires. And then there's a long string of other drivers that have fresh rubber, ready to go green. We'll try Blanchard are front out of 5.
Well, Tyler Dittmer, he had some activity earlier in the race, and he finds himself in the top 5. We know that Taylor Peacock had a fast truck, and also so did Chris Cinnamon. All three of them sitting there in front of Keith Haney, who's been the best truck so far, arguably all night long, sitting there in 6th on fresh tires. And it make it a little bit harder for that 78 to jump through, but I'll tell you, good call for Blake in the 59. You can get out there and keep that clean air on the front of that truck. You might have a winning truck here tonight from that strategy.
Trying to go for his second win this season is at 59 of Blake Logan. One back of Walker Flynn trying to get another win, but potentially at a short track. It's going to be Tyler Dittmer on the inside for the 34. Waits for the 59 to really truly take up as we're about to go green for the Blanchard Towing 137 here at Lucas Oil Raceway as we are green, and it's going to be that Logan on the lap pedal now going to turn number 1, looking good, and on the outside it's going to be that of Christopher Blanchard going with a good run for the 19 and taking the pass potentially for second. What a pass potentially here as Christopher Blanchard continues to ride high on the outside. We're in 23 position. Yeah, this is great to see for a driver that's going to be hounded here. Quickly, contact further back. They're right on the front stretch. Danger for a majority, and it's going to be about to be gridlock as yellow flag waves.
Wow, that's a big hit for a bunch of drivers. And, you know, we had said when you're running in close quarters and something happens, it happens quickly at this racetrack back under yellow, and there's a big hit. So I saw the 17 of Brandon Bullock take a big shot over there, and I think this is going to do in a couple trucks.
It's 29 of Keith Bradley. He's just been having an off night tonight. He's been involved in multiple incidences. 44, not able to get on the brakes. Makes more contact with 22. Sickles and just drivers further back. Just hoping that they were clear, were not a little tiny taps one another, and it just kept on blossoming and more carnage down the front stretch and came all the way down to the entry of turn 1. Whole entire straightaway was seeing drivers getting collected with one another. As caution flag waves, we're expecting these drivers less than 80 laps to go when we go green. Kevin, as we've been watching this in this field, I mean, I'm loving the strategy for the 59. These off strategy from the majority of the rest of the field. I gotta say, the track position seems to be showing that he's so much more important than any type of fresh tires being mired back in the rest of the back.
Yeah, I mean, these trucks are wide. They're tough. When there's a single lane, it's difficult, and really you just have to work for multiple laps once you get underneath another truck to try and find the speed up off the corner to drive past them. It's a hard road. We look at the 5 drivers who stayed out, both the Dittmer, Blanchard, Peacock, and Cinnamon, all of them in front of trucks with fresh tires. The only one who's made a crack in that dent is Haney, got up the 5th past Cinnamon, but all of those drivers with 10-lap older tires holding their own. So, you know, good call, good strategy, and these cautions has got to put a big smile on those drivers' faces as they're making the right call here if we keep playing this way.
Also want to give updates on Ed Osborne and Dane Hagan, who started back in 20th, 21st position. They've been able to move up a handful of spots, up now to 15th and 16th position for both of them. So slowly moving forward, but just showing it takes so much time, even with fresh tires, and with them having 9 fresher tires than those that made the previous pit stop, and it also going to be having that of 21 lap fresher tires than our front 3. They've got a lot of work to do if they want to get back up front as well for the rest of the field. They've got to be questioning, when do they want to come into pit road and potentially be their last and final pit stop? Do you want to wait until 30 laps to go? Maybe it's 50 laps to go when you last come in. We know the majority of this field, that is the goal. Behind that last time you want to come into pit road, make sure that you're set up in a prime position to win tonight's race.
Yeah, sooner or later, if we find one of those cautions in the next couple segments, Everybody's going to know it's time, and you'll see a wholesale change for everybody heading to pit road. But for right now, a couple of good races to make note of. How about Joey Doucette sitting there in the 8th position? Joey quietly sitting 6th in points and having a good year. Has not been in contention for the win, but looking at a top 10 here in the number 16 truck. And I think a couple guys are going to have really good runs here tonight.
I mean, I think it's going to be set at the final half track where he's really found that speed. And next week, these drivers go to Texas Motorsports. We'll see how the drivers would react to that one. As for tonight, we got a lot of races to go. Less than 80 laps to go. Like Bothan, who's on the off strategy, going to be up front, bringing us to the green flag. Other drivers further back to get into the outside wall. This restart, we got to be careful. For 59, really comfortable. And now it's going to be Taylor Peacock on the outside, trying to get past that without Dittmer to get into the place.
He'll wheel to wheel with Dittmer getting a good run through the center of the corner. Here comes his drive off. Everybody's straight, still side by side. The outside lane for Peacock proves to be a little bit faster. Dittmer drives it in hard. They're running wheel to wheel. Here they come. They're almost touch going through the corner. Side by side with Dittmer, not giving up. This is what we were talking about. If you're on the bottom, you just have to keep trying to charge. See if one of those laps is going to pay dividends. And there it is. A little bit of a slide job. He's going to take the position.
Peacock trying to give a little bit of a bump to Dittmer to get him out of shape. And now it's going to be that remaining pole setter, winner of stage 1 and stage 2. The 78 gets wicked loose there for a second. Almost taking out Blanchard, and I won't be taking out Christopher Blanchard. Blanchard is trying to just run his best race of the season for the 19, and now going to be swamped by some of the faster drivers earlier in the race. You've got yourself there, Keith Haney, Cinnamon, and what you just noted on there, Kevin, Joey Doucette, just moving forward. He's been working on this race truck all night long, trying to find ways to attack this course. 16, now up to 6, going to be 22 positions up from where he started. Biggest mover of the day, Joey Doucette.
Now all the trucks kind of single out right now. Everybody's nose to tail just getting settled in, and they're going to see a yellow on the speedway.
Yellow flag, got a strike for these drivers. And further back, I mean, up front, it was looking like fantastic racing, but further back, drivers collected with one another. It was damage on the backstretch for the majority of the field. It looks like it was around that of Raul Meza that might have been the driver very slow in issues, but out this with yellow. Take a look here on this replay, and in a sense, all drivers further up, that's going to be Jacob Blanchard. I mean, that of cars is going to be getting loose and going to be side by side into turn 3, and I believe it's going to be on going through turns 1 and 2 where we're going to be seeing the issue that started off and kind of put everything into cycle. Bring out this yellow, there it is, contact Morris into Meza, and Meza then slow, but here comes the rest of the field behind the 93, Shepard, others, Painter, contact 4 wide, and just nowhere to go. And that's going to be the 93 around, as well as 22 and others, and bringing out a late caution here. Getting up to 70 laps to go.
8th caution on the evening, not including the stage breaks, and now we're getting to that time where you have to wonder if drivers are going to head to pit road. Somebody might take the gamble, duck in, try to get the track position, and see if they could run the rest of this race. It's quite a long way to go. Not sure if anybody can really do it, but if you're going to roll the dice, now's the time.
I'm wondering if anyone is currently, we're going to be seeing our drivers, top 18, 17, going to be on the lead lap for how long? As for us, here, drivers coming up to just that of 70 laps to go here at the Lucas Oil Raceway for that of the Blanchard Towing 137 for the out of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, Less than 70 laps to go here at the 7/10 of a mile. Short track racing. It's been a blast to watch. We'll be right back in a few.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it? They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the NASRA Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
As we are green, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be that of Blake Logan, Tyler Dittmer, Keith Haney now going to be moving up to third place as this Blanchard towing 137, and it's going to be seeing these drivers get ready. Less than 70 laps here tonight. We're on lap 134 of 200. Still a lot of racing action to be made. No more stage breaks. Both stages were won by the 78 machine in third position. My name is Sam Tyre. With me is Kevin England as well as LSRTV Studios in the background. Kevin, we watched these drivers all night long, and it's been a lot of clean racing. It felt like during stage 1 and 2, but it has just been ramping up caution after caution. Right now, a little bit of a breather for these drivers where they just can race. But for how long is a true question.
Yeah, it feels like it's go time. Some of these drivers are thinking that. We see the pressure being applied to the back upper, to the charges. Some of these drivers feel like, especially as you get 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, they're going to need to go. If they want to win this thing or get a top 5, they're going to have to run. Up front in the top 4 looks a little more calculated. They're trying to win the game of inches. Rolling forward, don't look now. Keith Haney is in third, making ground in that 78.
Be the one to watch out for, but Steven Thomas, 23, absolutely having a terrible start to the race. Same to the same for Ted Wade. Over caught up in a couple of first couple of lap incidences and making contact with other drivers. They're now in the top 10, trying to push forward, and Taylor Peacock's done a great job defending currently for 6th place. From that, about a half a groove off the wall. No one can go to your outside. The inside lane is just so difficult to make passes. You've really got to set up, prepare to go for that battle each and every position. Right now, we can do that if Taylor Peacock holding it strong. Having it right now, Haney is certainly the driver to watch out for, but Thomas and others, the longer these runs go on, the more we got to be concerned of those rear tires, the amount of heat, and as well just how old these tires are becoming.
Yeah, for Thomas, you can see he's keeping that truck a little bit to the left so he gets some air. There is a little bit of air factor in this, and he's our point leader. He's got the most top 10s. It's no surprise to see him on the charge here as he dives down low. You can get a run like that on Taylor Peacock. You're doing something. I think Peacock's truck's got a little bit of damage, but at 23, it looks pretty fast right now, and we'll see whether or not he can climb up here and tussle with these top 5.
So trying to do the crossover move was not Taylor Peacock. Not able to really confirm on that crossover, getting back that position spot, as it is now 60 laps to go here tonight. The world at Island Pit for 80% Cinnamon, Joey Doucette, your top 5 currently as we're watching the battle going off to second place, where that is Steven Thomas and as well Taylor Peacock continue to duel it out with the 2 of Ted Wade, now on the back bumper of 81. And don't look now, Adam Newbert, who at one point was leading this race after strategy called for the fourth out. One, gotta get off that outside wall, but they start moving forward with Ford to the top 10 now.
Yeah, to be in the top 10 for that number 4 truck is a reasonable run, and after leading 26 laps earlier in the event, has put himself in position for a top 5 here. And while we noticed the truck had some damage early, he's been able to keep it going, and solid effort for the number 4.
A great run for Adam Newbert, and we're now going to move up to the lead. Blake Loveland, Tyler Detmer, Haney, Cinnamon, and now you can potentially say even Joey Doucette, as our leaders are starting to close in a lot more on one another. And also, not traffic. Shortly for our leaders, they're getting chaotic. Still watching on board with Taylor Peacock just holding back the other drivers behind him. I mean, we've got kind of Ed Wade as well as Newbert, and also Blinker. He's done a great job going back into the 6th, and that of Abbott just outside of the top 10 for 82.
Yeah, everybody kind of single filed out there, just trying again to find whatever grip they can find at this track. Once they don't have the opportunity of a 50-lap stage break, they've got to take care of their tires and search for traction wherever they can. This is one of those racetracks when you roll it down into the corner, you just let the truck float up until it takes a set, and then you drive through it and, try to do whatever you can to maintain your speed up onto the straightaway.
And yellow flag waves here tonight. And right when the yellow did wave up past the lead, Tyler Zimmer able to get to first place. They see Eric Zimmerman damage. Same for the 22 of Jeffrey Sickles. The driver's going to be bringing out yellows here tonight. He'll take a little bit out of racing action by the 94. Field at least will be fine. Certainly, this is not the yellow these drivers we wanted to see. I think the majority of the field, they were hoping to race the stake green coming closer to our final quarter of the race. Field green is going to be less than 50 laps to go here tonight. Lanes are towing 137. Kevin, with the timing of this yellow, this is right around the time that we might be seeing a lot of these drivers to the pit road.
And that's what we're going to see right here is Dittmer. I'm not sure what he was thinking, but he stayed out, and everybody else is going to go to pit road. We see Dittmer was able to just sneak past Lifton to grab the lead right as the truck caused the caution on the backstretch spun. And now this should be it. Final pit stops for a lot of our top 10 as everybody comes in. It's feeding time at the zoo here on pit road.
It feels like a stage 3 break in the middle of this race, but there's no more stage breaks. That's not every 50 laps. There's a stage break, just the timing of this yellow. Now, the drivers know that they are good on fuel and on tires. The finals top of the night for these drivers. Logan going to be in 4th place. The drivers are just going to pit road. Top 3, Tyler Dicker, James Morris, Hartwick, drivers out. Road 2, Dicker, and also James Morris. Those 2 drivers. For Morris, he's had a rough night. And I got to say, more that of Tyler Dicker. He's hope for the best.
Yeah, Blake went for 4 tires and fuel, and he was able to get that truck out in front of the Keith Haney. And now everybody's going to set up. We're going to see the gloves come off. This should be a fun race to watch to the finish. All the strategies are going to be put aside for anybody who's pitted. They've got their final 4 tires and fuel, and yeah, there's an eclectic mix up here right behind the pace car.
It's going to be seeing how the driver's going to react. I mean, that's going to be the key thing of I mean, Dittmer has to at some point. Morris might not have to for the rest of this race. Not a caution we're having. 34. Worst case scenario for him so far.
Yeah, Dittmer pitted last, lap number 90. And if he goes to pit road at some point, he might have fresh tires, but we saw how difficult it is. Lap 89, correction on that. How difficult it is to pass, but we'll see how this plays out. I'm curious to watch this to the end because, like we said, we've been following the different strategies. Now when we get to 50 to go, I think we've seen the end of that. These drivers are going to have what they need.
Who's going to survive and who's going to make it to the end? Alex Dittmer, James Morris, Haney, Blake Logan, and as well Jacob Sinkart going to be your top 5. Getting ready to go green here with Joe Doucette, Peacock, Thomas, Ted Wade. Ryan Havoc going to be our rest of our top 10.
Charging down into the first corner for the first time. Lothian gets a good start. Haney to the outside is going to power into second position. Still side by side for some of those positions out front, but we're watching this battle with Haney tucking into the back bumper. Remember, he's got fresh tires. He's going to make quick work of this, Sam. I think he's going to dive down low, see if he can draw up alongside Dittmer, get the drive off and drive away from these guys.
He's going to do his best to do so. I want to apologize for any audio issues. I don't know what's going on my end, but he's freaking out side by side and Haney's the lead.
And he is going to be able to clear pretty easily. He's going to take over the lead here. Lap number 155. Up front, it says on the back of his truck, and I think he has made that come through. Here comes the second assault for Dittmer. How about Clinkart? What an outstanding run for the Hoop Ties Garage. Chevrolet, the number 5, powers off the corner. He, too, is going to get the better of Dittmer. He's going to come to second.
Great pass, and just wondering how far can Joey Doucette now go with this poor qualifying, but great run right now.
Yellow flag on the speedway, and this is going to let everybody collect up behind the pace car. We'll look to see if we can figure out where this incident occurred out in the back of the pack.
We're going to go do a quick commercial break. We'll be back in just a few moments.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it? They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the NASRA Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be that of Keith Haney up front, and we're excited to be seeing how well he's going to be racing. A little bit of contact further back with the yellow that came out. It's going to be that of seeing Jacob Morris and a couple of other drivers making the contact. We'll see how well they can rebound and take that back. That was actually Keith Bradley. That was a driver that made contact. We'll see how well these drivers can attack. But Kevin, we changed things up audibly for ourselves. We think that we're going to have my audio working. It's not going to be just spazzing out and irritating everyone's ears moving forward. So we got ourselves 40 laps to go when we go green.
Yeah, 5x5 sound good. And I got to say, you know, we saw a little bit of spark out of Keith Haney when we raced the iRacing Super Speedway. He was there on the charge up in that top 10 mix. Hasn't been present that much during the season, but certainly he has served up a helping if you guys try to catch me tonight, because I'll tell you that truck is on rails and it's going to be really, really difficult. What he needs to do going forward is just make sure he gets a clean restart, gets out in front of him. Don't let anybody get to the bumper, and he should be able to lock this thing away, but you can't give it to him too soon. There's a lot of hungry drivers right out the back mirror.
Yeah, everyone's hoping that Keith Haney, with that little bit of right side damage scrub marks that we see on that 78, is at least some type of damage to slow it down. Haney has been just above and beyond everyone else on just pure speed. Look at some of the other drivers that have been quick. Tyler Dittmer was one of those drivers that's put down some fast laps. If you look at the best lap times that have been put down by everyone else up front, it's not even close, by over 200 to that of 0.2 of a second. Haney is faster than everyone else. Pace car is off. 40 laps, gonna be 39 to go here tonight. We are green, going down into turn number 1.
And just what the doctor ordered, a good jump for him. And for Haney, it's been a 5th place finish at Las Vegas is the only thing he's hung his hat on. The other finishes, 21st, 31st, 25th, just has not had the season he's looking for. But if he can chalk himself a win in the win column, that's going to put him to championship land. And he's going to say how much of a fun time he had here at IRP.
Going to be seeing Joey Doucette running where he's at, but a quick yellow going to be thrown further back. Looks to be the 47, that of James Morris. Bringing out this yellow. We take a quick replay, see what's going on, as James Morris going to be on the outer groove. Driver, that's going to be seeing Riviera going to be going off track for a quick moment, but Painter, as well as the 38, going to be right next to Morris here as they come out of turn number 4. Just gets loose, then finally gets finished off by that of Painter.
Yeah, we talked about how hard it is to come off that corner and hold it. And you really need to steer right sometimes in order to get the truck squared up with the front straightaway. And if you get behind in the steering, you're going to turn across the nose of somebody. That's a tough break for Morris. And here we go. Unfortunately for Haney, that puts Linkart, who is hungry and also looking for that first win of the season, right on his back bumper.
Jacob Klinkhardt, think about last season, won at the late during the playoffs at Daytona, trying to go for a win. Short track racing here in that of season 4. The potential is there for the 5, but he's going to need a lot of help if he wants to get it done. Keith Haney has been the odds-on favorite, got our Blanchard Towing Pull Award, one stage 1, one stage 2, and going to be trying to carry on to try to win this race here tonight. It's inching closer and closer to 30 laps to go. Kevin, now the laps are ticking away. For the majority of these drivers from 15th on back, even if you've got an extra set of tires, I think you're running out of time to even have a chance to cut your way through this field.
Yeah, as difficult it is to navigate through the pack, I just think it's going to be tough. Your job at this point is to get 1, 2, 3 positions, whatever you can, but I doubt even with the freshest tires you're going to drive up here. I'm impressed, though, that we still have 20 drivers on the lead lap, with James Morris being the driver in 20th. I would have figured we'd have a little more attrition here tonight, but these guys soldiering through and logging laps here at IRP.
Looking at some of the stats of our front two, Keith Haney, best finish, 5th place, and that was last week at Las Vegas. Next best finish, 21st position at the iRacing Super Speedway race. He's only ran 4 races. This is race number 5. Keith Haney is trying to get himself a win. Then you look at that of Klinkhardt. He's going for one of his best finishes. His best finish this season was a 9th place finish at Dover. just back at week number 3 of this season. And that was a 9th place finish. I mean, still searching for his first top 5 for the 5 machine. Might be able to get it done here tonight. Short track racing, lights are still on for the pace car, so we're still not completely stacked up and ready to go green once more. But Kevin, I mean, with how many laps are left, do you think that there is any opportunities for some of the drivers that are in the top 10 that might think about coming into pit road? Or do you think that their bet is set, they're staying out there for the rest of the race?
Yeah, I think they're done. It's just so hard to drive by anybody, and especially if you get yourself deep in the pack, given, that was the comment about how many drivers are on the lead lap. You're going to go to the back of that lead lap, and you're just not going to be able to drive your way through from 20th. If you were sitting in 10th, maybe, towards the end of this race, but laps are running out, and I suspect we might see a couple more cautions, which take away your opportunity. So I think they got what they've got, and they got to make the best of it. Joey Doucette sitting there in 3rd. He's got a pair of 3rds, and he would like to be a little bit better than that. There's some hungry drivers right here in the back, and really for Haney, key thing for him is to get to the straightaway, hammer down, and see if he can sneak away from these guys on this restart.
Going to be going on the inside for this restart. A little bit of a different positioning for the 78. He's got to get going, got to get quick, and he certainly is already going to be ahead, clearing high, and into turn number 1. It's going to be Keith Haney playing hard. Also, Joey Doucette, and as well, going to be that of Blake Logan, your top 4, single file out. It's side by side for 5th place. They where he's find that of Peacock as well. Stephen Thomas side by side, but up front, it's going to be that of Haney. Clear, they're clear, going off out of turn number 4, and there's no one else that's even close for our front 2.
Big slide for Stephen Thomas out of turn number 4. That truck was yawed out about 40, 45 degrees. He was able to collect it, but he's going to get a couple trucks driving by him. Everybody's single filed out there for, well, at about the first 10 positions. Thomas trying to get back up in line. He's got Dittmer behind him. He owes Dittmer a beer there because Dittmer eased off and let Thomas slide back in. But out front, how about Haney? He did what he needed to do. Got out, broke away, holds a couple car lengths, and is just looking to see if he can run these laps down and get this win here tonight.
Looking at some of the drivers in their last lap that was just put down. Obviously, Keith Haney, who's pulling away, has the fastest truck out there. The next closest fastest truck is going to be Joey Doucette in 3rd, but that is going to be almost a full 10th slower than Keith Haney, who's going to try to pull away lap after lap as more drivers that were in pit road going to get back out there. That's out of Newbert. It gets back out on track. But Kevin, I mean, Keith Haney is feeling comfortable, confident up front, and he's going to try to continue to pull away.
Yeah, his job is to look out the front windshield and just hit his marks. Make sure he holds his space. Every once in a while, he can look in the mirror to see what kind of gap he has. But he's just hoping this thing runs green all the way to the finish. He's had the fastest truck all night long. It's been on a rail. He just wants to get this over with. He doesn't want to see any cautions and put those guys on his back door for an opportunity, especially late in this race where he could be vulnerable to a punch. So at this point, he's just hoping for green all the way to the run.
Seeing that of Eric Zimmerman is going to stay low, get out of the way for the majority of this field. As our top 3 feel comfortable, confident, pulling away. Also, you see that of Blake Lothan, who has led a couple, at least 20, 30 laps here tonight after strategy calls for the 59. Going to be back in 4th position. And you look at some of the other drivers that are out here on track, running as well as they can. Got to give a shout out to the 82. He's been doing a great job moving forward, but it's battling going to be happening for the majority of the drivers around this 10th place, 10th to that of 5th place. They are right on top of one another.
Yeah, Abbott is definitely having a good night. It's been an up night, it's been a down night, it's been a middle night, and right now it's an up night. If he can get this next position, he's going to sneak in there and get himself a top 5. Sun setting here at the IRP Raceway Park. You could see the glow over there off of turn 4 over the drag stretch, and it feels like these drivers also have to contend with some of that glare coming off the corner.
Weather and always sunlight going to be a factor for these drivers. That's what you got to love about the dynamic. Weather is into the wall, going to be trying to get out of the way if possible. It's going to be at Osborne. getting a little bit of too much, and now he's going to get finished off. Instead, Dittmer gets into the third point of the 42, and just like that, a spin and a yellow flag waves here tonight.
Yeah, and certainly what Haney did not want to see, and Dittmer has got to be spitting nails at this point, just trying to salvage something here tonight.
Going to be trying to do everything possible as Ed Osborne, seeing the 23, trying to make a little bit of a shuffle, gets tapped, tries to overcorrect, but that little bit of a tap just late there from Dittmer sends the 42 up into the wall, and just like that, puttering, hoping to try to find a way to finish out this race, but with that contact, Ed Osborne, required damage, has to come into pit road.
Little sneaky snake back there on the backstretch as some of these drivers faked pulling in, but as we discussed, nobody really taking the opportunity here, at least in the top 10, to duck in and get tires. You know, one thing that we didn't talk about is if the 8th place truck, making this up, went in the 9th and the 10th and the 11th, then that might be a game changer, but to my knowledge, we didn't see any of that going on here. Everybody stayed out on the racetrack. I have to wonder, Sam, if anybody's got any tires left.
I believe, looking at the tire sets currently, the top about 8 at least have a tire set left. Some of the drivers further back, I believe they've already used their last set. Some have come into pit road multiple times just for damage repairs, but at least the top 6 still do have one more set left, but that track position is just too nice to have. You don't want to just throw it away and get back trapped in lap traffic where it's the unknown. You might get caught up in someone else's mess.
Yeah, Dittmer, who just had a little bit of a challenge, he's got an extra set, and Raul Meza, running 12th right now, also has a set of tires. So, you know, if I'm in back there, I might think about it. You might grab it. You might.
And if you've got it, I mean, why not try? I mean, you've also seen back, they've got damage. I mean, we've only got 19 drivers on the lead lap, and with the amount of damage and some of the drivers further back there, we could be down to just 17, potentially 16 drivers on the lead lap with the way that this race is going. But still, I mean, you got to give credit to those that have been up front. I mean, especially for Keith Haney, who's been placed, you know, with all the different strategies from stage 1, 2, coming into this final stint here tonight. He's been pushed back into the 7th, 8th position at moments, and he's done a great job just slowly moving forward. Yes, he's got some bumps and bruises on that 78, but he's been the fastest truck all night long. Keith Haney, our leader currently, got the pole position one stage in stage 1 and 2, and now trying to go for the complete sweep here at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Yeah, by my count, 11 cautions so far, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care, because I just love the dynamic of the racing on this racetrack. It's a driver's track. You got to drive it into the corner. You're running inches from the wall. You're making those passes down on the bottom, trying to get the truck to hook up and drive off the bottom. We've seen different strategies. We've seen things going on pit road. I just love this racetrack, and I wish they would run it more and more. This is perfect for these trucks to run, and we've seen a whale of a race so far here tonight.
It has been amazing for us to watch. Now less than 20 laps to go in this 200 just marathon of a race for the majority of these drivers. You don't usually see that many driver or racing leagues decide to come to Lucas Oil Raceway, but it's a treat when drivers do. I think for the majority of this field, like I noted on, there are at least 10 drivers that had never even touched this track. They've been learning as the race goes on. And you can tell by those that are up front that some that have certainly have raced this track before. I gotta say, with the way Keith Haney's been just rolling around here, I would say he's probably ran here before, and he certainly is ready for racing action. As the drivers up front, green flag is on our ticker. I think we might be a little bit delayed and ready to go. We are green flag racing live as this field is getting ready to go.
Yeah, yellow comes out right away, unfortunately, and that's going to put it back for, you know, I guess if you're Haney and you're out front, not a bad thing to have happen, because now you don't have to contend for it. But as fast as his truck is, doesn't matter whether we're under caution or green, he seems to have control of the race.
Well, we missed the restart, but technically this is what happened. As the drivers took off, 23 and others just got shoved in. Abbott and others just plowed into the wall from Peacock into the 82, but it was the 3 just got ripped around off the nose of the 23 of Stephen Thomas. Goes Chris Cinnamon. That puts us in another yellow here tonight. This should put us close to 10 laps to go in the race, and each time there's a yellow comes out, that's just taking away another 5 laps from Green Flag Racing. Oh, well, I think it might have been a little off there, Kevin.
A little off.
15 cautions here tonight so far.
I wasn't counting the stages, so I must have missed one somewhere along the way.
Yeah, we had 2 yellows for the stage breaks, and so that's 13 on-track incidences, 71. Almost half the race has been ran under caution flags, and 7 lead changes. It has been a lot of wrecks here tonight.
I missed a lead change too. I have 6 on the note here, but certainly there's no question about who's led the most laps here. Haney leading the first 50, and he's been out in front for quite some time here. So no doubt Haney's going to lead the most laps. When you look at total laps led, Haney had 47 coming in, sitting behind Stephen Gregory and Ted Wade. Wade with 173 laps on the season. I don't know that Haney's going to get him tonight, but certainly he's going to bump up to second in the standings of laps led on the season with his performance here tonight.
Oh, it's been incredible to watch. I mean, this is race number 8, and for that of Keith Haney, he missed the first couple of races, and he's been doing a great job ever since he's shown up. It has been a pleasure to watch Keith Haney, who was an unknown from my point of view, and then just kept on getting faster and faster each race, trying to make his 5th start this season, be in victory lane. But to do that, he's got to beat another driver that's trying to get his first win of season 4, and that's going to be Jacob Klinhart in 2nd place. And, well, another driver trying to get his 2nd win, the 59 of Blake Lothan. He's going to be hoping for the best here. He got by Joey Doucette. Losing 1 position is the 16. Joey's got to hope to find a little bit more speed for some of these drivers. But if we look back for fresh tires, I think we have to go all the way back to 15th where we find Dan Hagan, who's going to be the furthest up, who just came in pit road 8 laps ago. But with the amount of caution laps and green flag laps that are left in this race, might not be enough time for 39 to climb his way through.
Yeah, you know, an objective for him from that position maybe is a top 10, and with the fresh tires, he might be able to do it. You know, some of these guys, quite frankly, the rough night that they've had, they want to drive on out of Indianapolis and head on home. But they're going to change their fortunes. Next week, we're at Texas, then we go to Talladega. When we come back to another racetrack very similar to this, Nashville Fairgrounds. So a couple different complex racetracks to run. Is certainly from small 0.7 of a mile to Talladega 2.66 miles. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks with these truckers.
How are they going to survive? How are they going to be making it through? Well, first, who's going to have short track tempers? As we've got coming up to 11 laps to go, green flags in the air. Keith Haney brings us to the green for that of the Blanchard towing 137 side by side for 3rd place. Find out of seeing that of 59-16. Joey Doucette on the outside. Great run, able to hold off for now. And the rest of the field getting loose, holding on, and they're getting loose, crazy, and they're willing to make some big moves. Stephen Thomas bumping into Abbott back there for 6th place, and our front 2, they're gone. Pull away. Haney feels comfortable up front with 10 to go.
Yeah, Blake Lothan tried to get a good run to the bottom. It just basically didn't materialize. He tucked back in line, and I've got to say, if I look at this dynamic out front, Klinhart, I think he might have learned something. He's not that far off the back bumper of Haney's going to keep him honest here in this final stretch.
Trying his best to stay up front, and up behind, there's going to be a car scattering slow, low, and it's going to be that of Hagan, who was trying to make the charge forward and was up to 12th before this yellow flag flies. And instead of charging for the lead, we're going to see here on this replay of the night-ending pass and move and put Hagan out of the race.
Yep, just lost it. The truck was bound up down there in the middle lane, and when you come off, you have the utmost pressure on those right side tires. Not uncommon to see it break loose under full throttle there. You need to have an egg underneath the pedal when you're coming off there, and if you give it just a little too much squeeze, it's going to break loose. And wow, what a hard pancake hit he took to the inside wall over there.
It was so hard that it blew the engine, and for Hagen that was trying to go for a top 15 finish and almost cracked into the top 10, it is going to be a race-ending incident that's going to be put in the 39 behind the garage. Other drivers that have put it behind the garage, Ed Osborne, who was involved in another wreck, he's officially called it a night. But this is going to be interesting because of the timing of this yellow. This could be putting us with that of 4 to 3 laps to go in a shootout style. But if we get a quick caution immediately after that, we're going into overtime.
Yeah, now this is the time of the race where I look back there and see who finally made something out of what their race was, and I look at only Zach Hartway. In the 11th position, I don't know that he has a top 5, top 10 this season, and knocking on a top 10, and you know, maybe IRP is going to be that place where he notches that in the stat book. And I just like to always kind of look at the fascination of some of that stuff. And Hartwick, he wants one more at least before this checkered flag falls.
Hoping to grab any type of positioning if possible. And if you're looking for more short track amazing action, well, it is coming in just 9 days. Going to be on scene March 20th. It is the LSRTV Super Late Model Invitational, where we've got some of the baddest, fastest short track drivers. Excited to see how they're going to be tackling the super late models at North Wilkesboro. It's going to be a good one. Again, at March 20th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Check it all on here on LSRTV. Laps continue to tick away. 5 to go. Lights are still on. Kevin, this means we're going to be having 3 laps to go when we go green again.
Yeah, you know, my head is trying to figure something out. North Wilkesboro, isn't that down on the front straightaway, up on the backstretch, or is it the other way around? I can't remember.
Other way around. It gets everyone tricky. I honestly, I forget sometimes until I have to hop on track, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. We're going up,
yeah,
and then we go down.
Are they going to have a single file restart here?
Well, we're waiting for the lights to go off first, and then we're going to see if it's stacked up, and then we'll see as the drivers come across, trying to pick and choose where they want to be, and across the line, lights are off. 4 to go. Means it's going to be 3 once we go green. And it looks like that of Keith Haney wants the inside lane, playing hard. Ben Fairway wants to place himself, and you were wondering what is the 88's best finish. Who's all the way back at 11th. We were talking about if he can crack the top 10. Best finish for the 88 is a 22nd position at iRacing Super Speedway. That is the best run he's had. But up front, they're stacked up. We're getting ready to go. This could potentially be the last restart of the Blanchard Towing 137 here at Lucas Oil Raceway for the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series. It's going to be Keith Haney, Jacob Klinghart, and we are green. 3 laps to go, short track racing. There's a couple of drivers further back, not able to get back onto the throttle, but it's all the 78 coming out of turn number 2.
Doucette down low for that 3rd position, trying to sneak in there, see if he can get the clear. Is he going to get it? He gets it in turn number 3. Big wiggle for Peacock as the yellow's going to come out. Doucette to 3rd.
Doucette to 3rd, and like I noted on it, if a quick yellow come out, we're going into overtime, and it looks to be back where that of Jose Luis Rivera finding himself being racy and gets spun around as drivers got a little bit too antsy here later on in the pack. You're going to be seeing that of Cody Knott just get too close to the rear bumper, and away they both go in the entry of turn 3.
Yeah, the body shops are going to have a lot of work to do coming out of here.
I think a destruction derby might be the best place for all of them to finally just take all their trucks, say, you know what, we're just going to finish him off at this point. There's no saving him.
I just picture Harry Hogg taking a foot to the side of the door. I don't want you to get spoiled, buddy.
Oh man, well, like I said, time into that yellow. There was not enough regulation laps, so we need some extra laps to be placed. Overtime, we've got 2 attempts if needed. We're going into our first one. So once we go green, drivers are gonna have 2 laps. Green, white, checkered. If we get the white flag, we race it to the end. Doesn't matter who directs who, it's all about who crosses the line first. But if we get a yellow flag before we get the white flag throwing up, we then go into our second attempt. In our second attempt, it's all about who comes across the line. Either it's yellow or it's going to be coming across the line with a checkered flag. The goal is to be up front, and for that of Jacob Klinkart, he's only going to have a couple of attempts to really get by the 78 because he's been the most dominant car. And Kevin, I don't know if there is anyone on track right now that can beat out that of Keith Haney if we race it clean, I should say, to the end.
I'll tell you what, I would be in the headspace of Klinkart. Running second right now. Not only is he going to want to get the win, but he's got Doucette on his back bumper, and Doucette just made the move around Peacock. I think Peacock's truck, which was fast earlier, might be a little wounded at this point. But, you know, they're going to have to worry about Doucette back there. Doucette would love nothing more than to pick up the win here tonight, and I think he's got a pretty good mount underneath him.
Josie Doucette's going to need a great restart if he wants a chance. And I think if you're going to have any type of chance, you need to be in that second place position. Doucette in third. He's going to be lined up on the inside following that of Keith Haney. Got to predict also when you're going to be taking off. That's going to be another, you know, little bit of a wrench thrown is, can you predict when the 78 is going to take off? It's been pretty early when the pace car comes off, when Haney wants to just get onto the throttle and start moving and grooving, but can you predict that?
Yeah, and there's one other objective for any of these guys in the top 10. They've worked so hard to get here. It's been an elbows up race all the way. Don't throw it away here, right? They want to improve their position, but they also do not want it to go the other direction. So it's going to be an interesting restart, and we'll see whether or not. I think Haney has had them covered all night long. I'd be surprised if he threw it away at this point.
It's going to have to be a monumental just failure if he does not find himself into the butt kicker victory lane, but he's got to survive overtime. Our first attempt data for the Blanchard Towing 137 for the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, race number 8 here at Lucas Oil Raceway, and we are green. Overtime attempt number 1, and immediately it's going to be the 78 with the good run, and oh no, Klinkart, Joey Doucette contact, going to be spun around in a quick yellow. The 5 went from up front, feeling good. It's damage, wrecking, carnage through that of 1 and 2.
Wow, that made my feelings hit. Some of those hits were pretty hard. And Klinkart has, what we were just saying, right? Running second. Didn't get a good restart. You could see he was a little backed off here. And unfortunately for him, just a turn-in tag backed him into the wall.
It's 2 different drivers, different styles on how they want to come in. You see Hartwick, Morris, others just continuing to pile in later on. Newbert. This is going to be putting ourselves into our second and last attempt at overtime. This next restart is it. We finish this race under yellow or under green, and it's going to be Keith Haney leading the charge. Joey Doucette's going to be second. Blake Lothan's going to be in third. Taylor Peacock, Stephen Thomas, that of Ryan Abbott, Ted Wade, Tyler Dittmer, as well as Chris Cinnamon, Christopher Blanchard, going to be your top 10 drivers. Going to be starting on this restart, and if you look at, you know, at this point, it's all about getting the best restart possible for this 78 machine to get the win. For everyone else, you're just hoping that the race stays green so you got an opportunity to make any type of passes.
Yeah, and I am absolutely heartbroken for Zach Hartwick. He didn't make it through that. He's sitting down there on pit road. He's not going to get his top 10 tonight, it looks like. Klinkart's going to be out possibly, so his night went south after all the work. But, you know, you got to look at that 16 truck up, what, 27 positions from his starting position. He needs just one more to make it a full night.
Well, going to be seeing the 5 of Klinkart going to be back out on track, but it's kind of a demoralizing that back out on track. Going to be 2 laps down for the 5 first car lap down. There'll be 16 drivers on the lead lap. So if the 5's going to take any positions, he's going to need everyone ahead of him just to wreck out and not be able to finish out this race. But, oh man, you got to be feeling it for this 5 machine. He was up front, second for the last, you could say 20, 30, almost 40 laps. He's been up front trying to figure out how to get by that of Keith Haney. And there wasn't even a chance here late after contact between himself and Joey Doucette.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you just need to pack up your pride. They know he was here. Go back next week and get him again. I have to wonder, you know, there isn't a lot of retribution that goes on in sim racing, but I have to feel that he's owed one here at this point, and maybe later on in the season we'll just take notes to see whether he cashes in. But the storyline here is with Doucette to the outside. He's had one of the fastest trucks in this last 50-lap stint. Now my question is, how hard is he willing to drive it down into turn 1 to get the win?
And who's willing to potentially race clean or go for a wreck for the win? That's going to be another question. Kevin, this is our last restart. What are some of your final thoughts before we go green again?
I still would put $10 down on the table for that 78. If he gets a good launch and gets into turn 1 away from these guys, he'll drive away and get the win. But I don't know. You might snatch that away from me. It's going to be fun to watch this final restart.
Keith Haney, Joey Doucette, Blake Lothan, Taylor Peacock, Stephen Thomas, your top 5. Get ready to go green. Final restart here tonight for the Blanchard Towing 137 at Lucas Oil Raceway for that of the NASRA Triple M Pulley Truck Series. We are green, and it's going to be that of Keith Haney going to be taking the charge up front, but it's Lothan on the inside. Great launch for the 59, and he's right there on the back bumper. Almost contact going to be made.
Slides high out of turn 2. Doucette's going to come down below him. They're right to the bumper, but they're not quite there. Haney covering that position out of turn 4, slows up just a little to get a clean run out of turn number 4. He's going to lead him back to the flag.
White flag in the air. Here comes the dive bomb. Oh. And just like that, a white belt thrown up in the air. It's Joey Doucette taking the lead. The 16, he doesn't need it thrown away. It's all on his own. Then there's all calamity back there for turns 1 and 2. But it's Joey Doucette from 3rd. No one thought it was possible, but a dive bomb blow up gives the 16 a win here at the Blanchard Towing 137. And you see the aftermath, the carnage. Drivers are piled up in all different walls and spots, and there's the driver that tried to make the move for the win and instead caused the flip, the chaos, and the madness. Here's a replay of the dive bomb move. This is on the restart of this green-white checkered attempt. But oh boy, Kevin, it's going into turn 1 where it all just gets thrown away. And for some reason, Blake Lothan thought that you could just use the 78 as a break in the corner, instead wipes each other out. And here it is, the dive bomb move that took the win away.
Yeah, and you know, to his defense, 4 tires better than 8, or 8 tires better than 4. And that's that move I was talking about where you go down to the yellow line, but there was no traction. The truck just shot across it, and just unfortunately, what a massive crash. I don't have words for that, but congratulations to Joey Doucette, and I'm just heartbroken for Haney. That's just too bad for him.
From dominating, trying to get his best finish of the season to 14th place is where the 78 will finish. And for Joey Doucette, who had finished 3rd so many times this season, and it looked like that was where he was going to finish once more, saw his front 2 competitors take each other out. It was clean green racing in the 16, finding himself in victory lane here tonight, doing a Polish lap and just seeing how much these trucks need to be just turning to make it through the corners. And now going to be able to burn it down here in the front stretch. Congratulations to Joey Doucette, who, I mean, Kevin, I knew he was there. We said he was fast, but I don't think either one of us thought that he had a chance to win here tonight.
You know, we had talked about those previous restarts where they were trying to get to the back bumper of your leader, and they were all right there. They were under a blanket, so to speak. I don't know that anybody anticipated the move that was made that caused the incident, but for Haney, he might want to look at that again at some point and see if he can figure out what he did differently that he couldn't get away. But, it's just hard racing. I know they're going to be furious, some of these guys, at the way that worked out. But, it reminds me of Kyle Larson sailing it in that one time at Darlington and trying to ride the fence. You're going to do what you can because they'd wrecked their mother for a win. And for Joey Doucette, he came out the other side of it.
Oh, I mean, Blake certainly did. He tried to go for a second win this season and instead wiped out the leader, and it goes to Joey Doucette. Let's take a look at these unofficial results because there might be a lot of changing going on. We'll see how the admins want to work it out throughout the week, and we'll give you updates next week. But for now, unofficial, it's Joey Doucette getting the win with that of Stephen Thomas in second place. Taylor Peacock's going to get third, with Brian Abbott going to get fourth place. Ted Wade in fifth, with Dana Shepard, Devin Painter, that of Jose Luis Rivera, Chris Cinnamon, and James Morris finishing out your top 10.
11th tonight for Christopher Blanchard. Raul Menza hangs on for 12th in the 93. Keith Haney is going to get lucky 13th. Blake Lithian 14th. It'll be 15th for Tyler Dittmer in the 34. Jacob Klinkart has to settle after that disappointment for 16th. All of them running so fast at the end. Eric Zimmerman, it is 17th for the number 94. 28, Cody Knott finishes 18th. 19th tonight for Huck Wigington. And 8 laps down, 8 laps arrears, the 22 of Jeffrey Sickles. He's going to get a top 20.
Heartbreak even further down, 21st, where you find the 88 is Zach Hartwick, with also Logan Quinn, and that of Adam Newbert, also that of Dane Hagan. And you also find that of Matt Rutter, who survived somehow. Matt Rutter was looking like he was going to finish back at 30th position. The mental fortitude to stay out there on track. 25th for the 33. With that of Brandon Bullock and Osborne. Keith Bradley, who had a very rough night for the 29, Hunter Parsons, and that of Robert Richards, finishing out your top 30. And the final 3 drivers going to be that of Stephen Gregory, Justin Pitts, and that of our last season's champion, Brady LaBeouf, 33rd position here tonight. Well, the drama certainly hit. The fireworks went off. And for us, we're going to step aside for a quick moment. When we come back, we got our post-race show, top 3. What did they see, and how are they feeling after finishing our top 3? That's going to be Taylor Peacock, Stephen Thomas, and Joey Doucette. We'll be back in just a few. Well, before the race was done, fireworks were going off for the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series. Race number 8 here at that of the Blanchard Towing 137 for Lucas Oil Raceway. Had to use all 2 overtime attempts, and we finally figured out who got the win, but it certainly wasn't who we thought was going to get it done. We're going to start things off with third place runner, that of Taylor Peacock in the 81. Taylor, you finish in third place, but how was your point of view of the madness on that final restart?
Oh man, I don't think anybody was expecting that, especially who it came from. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still kind of dumbfounded with that. But I am happy with the day I had. Solid stage finishes and snuck in a podium. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, Taylor, when you look at the race, if you go back and replay it, I don't think anybody could have written a narrative of all the things that go on. And especially for you, there's so much extracurricular activity. How do you reconcile that with a podium finish tonight?
Oh yeah, definitely lucky. I've got to have some luck on your side. With a track like this, I don't, man. Coming into it, you knew it was going to be something crazy, probably going to happen. I mean, all these guys, we all race with each other with respect, and I'm still dumbfounded there at the end that Blake pulled that kind of move. Glad Joey got the win. But yeah, I don't have much to say on that. I'll let Brady deal with all that stuff.
I mean, Taylor, short tracks usually bring short tempers. We're expecting that to move forward, but we're now moving from the short track. We're going to Texas next week. How are you feeling about going back to a traditional mile-and-a-half course?
Good. I don't care what track it is. I love racing with these guys on Friday nights. It's competitive, fun. There's always somebody always gets mad, but I mean that's part of it. But I'd like to thank Brady for putting all this on. My teammates at Straight Cash Money, and you guys been doing an awesome job this year. I'm glad I finally got a podium to come talk to you.
And we're happy to hear from you, Taylor. And if there is anyone else that you want to shout out, the floor is open to yours again.
Yeah, I had a spotter tonight, Zach. I appreciate that from him. Yeah, I think I'm good. On to the next. See what other fireworks we can have at Texas.
I mean, Texas certainly can bring them. That's going to be Taylor Peacock in the 81 coming away with a third place finish here tonight. And good luck going into Texas next week.
Thanks, guys.
So now we head over to second place. Stephen Thomas, that was a driver that had some, also not the cleanest race of the night, but comes away with a second place finish. I mean, Stephen, you had a roller coaster night, being up front, dropping back down low, having to carve your way through with also a lot of bumps and bruises. How are you feeling coming away with a second place finish here?
Man, good. I'm super pumped that I got second there. I mean, it was on some BS, but I'll take it. But like you said, yeah, a lot of up and down for me this race, man. A whole lot of up and down. I'm sure you all could hear that if you were here in the chat. This was something. And I got caught up early in a wreck that involved Keith and got stuck up against the wall and got some damage. Had to go in the pits quite a bit to get that repaired, and had to start in the back. I think it was like a 20th. Starting the second stage, man, and I was just telling myself, get up in the top 10 and get a finish tonight. And then I found some speed. I found the line and started moving forward.
Yeah, second place finish. That's amazing. And yep, we noticed all the up and down, the different strategies tonight calling this race. And I was almost giddy at the point, Stephen, that we raced this racetrack. There's so much heritage and it's, I don't know what you know about this place, but it's so cool to see you guys. Was it fun to race this racetrack? Was it a challenge?
Man, when we had some green flag runs, it was awesome. Like I was excited for this track too. We just have to get it cleaned up out there. Like I said during the race, it could have been a really good show. You know what I mean? It really could have been. We put on a good show. It was a heck of a finish. But yeah, like you said, I was super excited to come here and run. And see what we had in the long run. I was super excited in the long run. The first stage, we kind of had one, and I was moving up pretty well in the long run. But yeah, like I said, it was a good time. It was a good time. We had some good racing, but a lot of pacing as well.
There was a lot of pacing. And how excited are you to finally get back to oval racing the mile and a half at Texas next week?
I'm pumped. I'm pumped. Texas should be fun. It should be a lot better race. Yeah, I'm pumped about Texas. Let's take it a week at a time, man. I'll see what's up. But I'm just glad to be back on the podium and talking to you guys. I had a stretch there early. I was doing it consistently 3 out of 4, and then I disappeared, man. I've had some bad luck, but able to creep back up here in the front.
And you've proven that you're quick. We know we're going to hear from you again, but for tonight, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, man, I'd like to thank Triple M Pooling, Over the Top Designs, Blanchard Towing, Butt Kicker, Michael and Brady, and all the admins that are involved in this league, and everybody that does what they do. Family Handyman, Tudors, Biscuit World, Powerhouse, Motorsports, all the sponsors on the truck, my teammates, Devin, Logan, and I don't know where our boy Andy was tonight, but yeah, and you guys at the broadcast, man, you all put on a heck of a show. I literally, during the race, just so you guys know, in the first stage, a buddy of mine jumped on Discord and said, man, I just jumped on the broadcast, and these guys are really good. I enjoy watching this. So, yeah, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting and putting on a good show, and y'all have a good night. See you next week.
Thanks, Steven. We appreciate that. And to your friend, we love the fact that you guys give us the show to be able to talk over. Congratulations on a second place finish, and good luck going into Texas next week.
Take it easy, boys.
We go from Steven Thomas in 23 for second place to that of the butt kicker victory lane with Joey Doucette. Joey, you almost found yourself going for the third time this season, finishing third, which would have been your best finish again. But instead, you come away with a win. First, just give us your mindset. You were up in the top three for the majority of these last 5 restarts. And then that last one, our final attempt, what was going on through that moment?
I just needed a good restart on that last restart, and I didn't get it the way that I wanted. Blake got in front of me, and I was like, I was gonna finish third, and I was gonna be happy with it. And I saw Blake dive down. I'm like, oh no. And once I saw him come up the track and hit the 78, and I knew it was over, I just had to dive back down, get around. And I slowed up because I didn't want to get involved in it, and I just had to keep on going. I saw Steven behind me, and I took the low line. My line was completely off out on the back stretch, and once I crossed that line, I just went, holy moly, did I just win this thing?
I have to ask you, if I stood next to you at the beginning of this race while you were strapping into the car from your 29th starting spot, would you have ever leaned over to me and said, watch me, I'm going to win tonight?
I knew I had a fast car. I wouldn't say I have one. I could have. I had a top 10, top 5 car after I got through the traffic. I was just laying back. I know short track racing can bring a lot of cautions. I mean, this is our 8th race together, and and we need to learn how to race together on these short tracks. But I thought we were a little bit too aggressive on the previous 7. So I just weaned my way through, got up there, and I told myself I'm not going back. And I stayed up there, and I was just shocked. I mean, early in this week, I left the chat last Friday, and on personal issues, and then Brady reached out to me last night, and he goes, hey, I'm just checking in on you, and I hope you get that W tomorrow, or go get that W tomorrow. And I got it. So thank you, Brady, for giving me the confidence to going into this race. So I got my first debut in this league. I'm now locked into the playoffs. So I'm just happy.
I mean, gotta say, Joey, you've proven that you've got the consistency to be up front. You got the speed, and now you've got the win. Congratulations on that. Man, I mean, how are you feeling for the rest of the regular season, knowing that you're locked in? Do you feel like the pressure is now lifted and you feel a little bit more easy going into the rest of this regular season?
Yeah, the pressure's off now. It's just to go for more wins and more top 5s. Like you said, I've been consistent all season long. I know I've had a couple of races that I got in some incidents, but I mean, I've been finishing up there like 3 or 4 or 5 times up in the top 5 at least. So that's a weight lifted, because I was looking at the playoff points, and I was almost on the cut line of not making it, because we have so many different winners and people getting playoff points. So now with this, me getting playoff points and a win locks me in. So the pressure's basically off on my shoulders.
Well, Joey, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Just like to thank my team, Warrior Raps Racing, Dane Hagan, Cody Knotts, Brandon Bullock, No Sweat, Pulse Poppers, Butt Kicker, Breams Bugs, and Ames Oil, Triple M, Bulling, Brady, Mike, LSRTV. You guys do a great job after every race that you guys do for us. I go back and watch it. Even sometimes I get notifications and I'll watch other races that you guys do. It's just amazing, and the job that you guys do each week in each series, even though it's not us. You guys all do an amazing job, and I just appreciate you guys.
Well, thanks, Joey, for that, and congratulations on getting your win locked in to the playoffs. That is going to be Joey Doucette in the 16. The pressure is now gone. Congratulations, and have a fun one celebrating this.
Thank you, guys. You have a good night.
Good night, and I got to say thank you to all three of the drivers coming up for interviews for the post-race show. And Kevin, as we're putting a close and a bow to this, what are some of your final thoughts of a finish I don't think anyone could have written or predicted?
Yeah, it's our job to try and lead everyone into the art of the possible about these finishes, but I don't think anyone saw the outcome of this one and the way that it went. The old cliche, you have to watch to the end, sure came into play tonight. We could not have pictured who was going to win this in that way, and you got to come back next week to see how it's going to end.
Next week, Texas, we'll have more reports on who's penalized, who's not penalized, because this is going to be a revolving and evolving type of a night. But we do know one thing, that is that Joey Doucette came across the line as the winner. Congratulations again to the 16. Thanks again, Kevin, for joining me up in the booth, and to LSR TV Studios for running all the productions behind the scene. My name is Sam Dyer. A wild night at Lucas Oil Raceway. A last lap crash taking out the leader, and it gave away third place runner Joey Doucette the lead to run away with this one, getting a win and becoming another first-time winner this season. Can't wait to see how Texas is going to go next week, and we can't wait for it. Friday night madness. Who knows who's going to get a win next week? We cannot wait for it. We can't wait to see you there. But for tonight, have a good one. We'll see you next week for more hardcore racing for that of the NASRA Triple M Pulling Truck Series, or we could see you Sunday night. We got that of the majors running there. Have a good one, and see you then.